knows what's going on more than you do.
The biggest names in sports every morning with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, it's a Monday. Welcome in, everybody. How are all of you? It is the Major League Baseball Trade Deadline edition of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. I hope all of you had a great weekend. Plenty to dive into here today. We're, of course, going to talk about the Major League Baseball Trade Deadline, which expires coming up here just under an hour from now. The Cincinnati Reds, right now, a lot of eyes on them, at least a lot of eyes from Reds fans are on them about what they plan on doing or plan on not doing. That, of course, is going to be the big key. As right now, the Reds they're that fringe team. We know on paper they're good enough to make the playoffs, but right now they sit 2 games out of a wild card spot, 5 games out of the division. What exactly is going on with your Cincinnati Reds? We'll find out just how desperate they are, and we'll get a good indication from the front office on where they believe this team sits comfortability wise. Again, the Major League Baseball trade deadline coming up at 4 o'clock. Kev, your team, the Indians, for again, this is an organization that fascinates me. You've traded away Corey Kluber, you've traded away Trevor Bauer, you've traded away now Clevinger now, of course, to the Padres. But the one thing that team keeps doing is they win, and they win some more. That is a prime example of when you look at the Reds, who continue to add talent and continue to lose, that speaks volumes about front office and management,
right.
and not front and management, manager. Obviously, the Indians have a fantastic manager. I love Francona. Problem is, Francona hasn't been around for quite some time, dealing with some health issues off to the side. But the Indians are a very good organization. It starts in the farm. It starts from up top and goes all the way to the bottom. Good farm system, good organization, great manager. Unfortunately, as much as I like to give the Reds front office credit for being aggressive and going out to get some big names in the offseason, it's not resulting in wins. And it could be a result of, the one bad decision they made over a year ago, which was the manager and David Bell. The Reds continuing to lose games. They split with the Cubs over the weekend, but the Indians moving on from Clevinger. Indians fans, you shouldn't even panic anymore. Like, for me, I'd be freaking out. But Indians fans are used to watching their star players leave, and the organization just keeps winning games.
As a Cleveland Indians fan, I'm sad to see Clevinger go because he's one hell of a pitcher. Mm-hmm. But the reason you had to move on from him is simple as this. He lost the trust of the organization. Not only the organization, the guys that he actually plays with. Not only did he get caught going to hang out and everything like that, but he lied about it. And once
is that why he's gone? Do you believe that's why they moved on?
That is exactly why he's gone. That is exactly why he's gone. And, I mean, let's not even...
He's older, too.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of age on him. But also, the Padres gave up a ton. And the Padres see him as somebody that can push them over the top because they're surging right now. They're hot. Like, I don't even remember the last time the Padres were any good like this. So, they're hot. And just like we talked about before the season even started, when the trade deadline comes around, that's when you'll know if teams are serious about really trying to make a run for it, because this is the opportunity every team wanted. They wanted to start out good, keep it going, trade deadline. I mean, September's tomorrow. So you make the trade and then boom, when we blink, it's going to be a playoff time. And you want to have a mound of pitchers, and that's what the Padres got going on right now. They got an ace. There's no question that Clevinger is an ace. He can pitch his butt off. But they gave up a ton because they see, hey, man, if we give up a ton and win a World Series and suck for the next 10 years, who cares? We just won the World Series. And that's what every team should be doing at today. If you think you got a chance, if you the Cleveland Indians, you think you have a chance, the Padres, you think you got a chance, you go for it, because now's the time. In a season like this is a season like none other. No other season has been like this. You got a chance and you can make your team better. You better go for it if you think you have a chance to win it all.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's the Padres, look, they get Mike Clevinger, they got Trevor Rosenthal, Austin Nola. I mean, this is an organization that smells blood the water, and good for them.
These are Yankees movies.
And there's nothing stopping the Reds from making these kind of moves. Now, again, I'm not going to rip the organization for the moves that they've made. I think the Reds have made fantastic moves. I think the one move that has continued to hinder them is manager, and I'm going to continue to wave that flag over and over and over, but that's not what today is about. The big question mark is Trevor Bauer. Will he remain a Cincinnati Red past the 4 o'clock trade deadline? It's interesting, though. John Heyman on Twitter, he tweeted out a little bit ago that all indications are that Cincinnati is that they're going for it. He tweets out that all indications are that Cincinnati is going for it, and that there has been no buzz about Trevor Bauer. The problem with that mindset is by the way, I have no problem with them keeping Trevor Bauer. I believe they should. My argument from the beginning was that they should, because if they end up accidentally finding their way into the playoffs, that rotation alone is going to put the Reds in a position to potentially make a run.
Right.
The big problem is like what I believe and many believe is that manager is the problem with the Cincinnati Reds. David Bell just has not been able to push the right buttons to get this club going, which is why it's frustrating when I'm watching an organization like the Indians who continue to send star player after star player out and they keep winning, but the Reds try to bring star player after star player in, and they don't. They just stay the same. Like that's where the frustration sits in with me as far as that's concerned. But I'm curious, Reds fans, 457-9464. We're going to open up the phone lines to you, 457-9464. Just curious, your thoughts on the trade deadline coming up. Should the Reds stand pat? Should they stick to what they have right now and go for a run with what they have? Or do you believe that this team, that it's done, it's over with, and that they need to try and salvage their farm system, that they need to try and replenish it, and maybe you could do that? The problem is Trevor Bauer, I do not believe, has a lot of value right now. Talent-wise, yes. I mean, a lot of value. A lot of teams would definitely love the services of a Trevor Bauer. The problem is when you look at him, when you look at him right now, it's a situation where I'm kind of like, you owe him a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You know, is it smart? I mean, especially heading into a playoff where you don't even know if the playoffs are if you're going to be able to finish them. Major League Baseball, and again, this was totally, grazed over last week by SKev. Major League Baseball announced that the playoffs are going to be played within a bubble. The World Series will have they're going to be heading to a host site. It will not be a home team hosting it one way or another. So I found that to be interesting. There's a lot of concerns as we get closer and closer to those colder, wintry months that we could be saying, you know what, if this virus does all of a sudden have a big resurgence again, it could put an end to that playoff, run. Maybe that's why a lot of teams too are sitting pat and saying, you know what, we're not going to give up prospects for a run in a season that may not finish. Especially service time counts. You're screwed either way. So we'll see.
Yeah, they might want to put the pedal to the metal and trying to finish up this season and even do something like the NBA is doing. Like it's an NBA game on every other night. Well, every night, but they're playing every other day. Like whoever wins game 7 tomorrow between Utah and Denver, they take a day off and then boom, they're right back at it. Like the NBA is trying to get this
literally
done and over with. Like, and maybe that's something baseball needs to look into to try to speed things up. Like,
I mean, they're playing every day.
Yeah.
But do you get to the playoffs and see a scenario where, hey, we're playing games 1 and 2 today?
Woo! That would help the Reds out.
Why not? You want to talk about finishing at the playoffs? I'm being kind of serious. The Reds, that would help them out, by the way. Do you see a scenario where that happens? Because we're seeing teams where if a player tests positive, we're postponing games for 2, 3, 4, 5 days at a time. So it wouldn't surprise me to see doubleheaders within the playoffs. The problem is when you talk playoffs, if I'm the Cincinnati Reds and make the playoffs, and someone within your division has to postpone a couple playoff games because a player tests positive, and yet they try to make those games up in doubleheader formats, I'm not happy.
Right.
I don't like. There's nothing fair about it. I hate to use the word fair because it sounds really whiny, but there's nothing fair about other teams getting to make up games by only having to play 7 innings when how many games have the Reds lost because that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning is really what cost them. So that's where I'm like, I'm not a fan of that if it comes down to this point. The bottom line is this season has been super exciting because of the expansion of the playoffs, more teams involved, the urgency involved, but it's also hurt teams. I think it's given some teams a false sense of identity. I don't think the Reds are as bad as what they appear to be, but I also think there are teams that aren't as good as they appear. I don't know if the Indians are as good as they appear to be. There's, you know what I mean? They're certainly sitting comfortably in first place.
I mean, the AL Central is trash.
But again, there was a lot of expectations for the White Sox and other teams to really the White Sox were one of the biggest winners in the offseason. Right. They were expected to take that next step forward. The Indians, we were talking like so just down about them coming into the season. Like, oh man, this is going to be that retooling year. It's going to be a rebuilding type of situation. And here they are in first place, trading away one of their star players. And they've dealt with so much drama. You don't have, of course, your manager who hasn't been around in weeks now. You have all the drama in the middle of the season with Plesac and Clevenger. Those two haven't pitched for the Indians since. You move on from one of those pitchers today with Clevenger going to the Padres. And then, of course, you look at Plesac, who we don't know what the future holds for him. They optioned him out to that 60 player pool. So it's like, the Indians just keep winning. That's a hell of an organization. I'm jealous of the Cleveland Indians because I thought, this is the second year in a row I've been screwed over by a team I follow thinking that talent's going to be enough. The Cleveland Browns screwed me over in that, and now the Cincinnati Reds, because it starts at the top. I think the Reds front office isn't as bad as we give them credit for. Things have not panned out their way, but I do think they made a huge mistake at manager. The way the game is being managed for the Reds is losing them games. And until they start winning games, you're not going to beat me in that argument. That's the reality of it. Right. So I have a question. So someone over the weekend got into it on Twitter. Shocker. Was talking about David Bell. So Joey Votto, after missing a few games, gets put back into the lineup, and not just put back into the lineup, but gets put into the leadoff spot. I was complaining about Joey Votto hitting leadoff. He has no business, hitting leadoff. He was hitting 193. I said he has no business hitting not only leadoff, but anywhere in the 1 through 4 spot. They need to get him out of that premier spot. They just need to get him out of there. Doesn't mean he needs to be out of the lineup, but he has no business hitting anywhere near the top of the order. Well, right away, everyone's ripping me for bashing David Bell because I've never seen a manager get so much benefit of the doubt for accomplishing nothing. It is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this is sports where we just look for reasons to bash people, and Reds fans are sitting here defending the manager's every losing move. It makes no damn sense to me as far as that's concerned. But I got into it, and someone said it's not the man. I said it's the manager's job to win games. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter with who. It just means whatever decision you make, it better lead to wins. And even if you're making the right decisions and it's leading to losses, it doesn't matter. You're held responsible. Mm-hmm. He said, no, the players are held responsible. Now, I'm very realistic in knowing that there is a happy medium. There's a balance between the two. But who is more responsible for winning games? Is it managers or players in baseball? And we can even expand it into sports in general. I know what I want to say. Players do play a role. But, Kev, in the world of sports, in the history of forever, it has never been that way. It's always been about the manager. It's always been about the coach. It's up to the manager to win games, and there's no excuse, especially when you're David Bell and have talent.
This is a tough one, but I got to go with the players.
Outlier. Oh, no, sorry. Let's pick it up from Friday where we left off. But no, it is on the players.
It's the players' responsibility because the players are the ones playing the game. You can coach them up. You can tell them to do A, B, C, and D. But if they're not executing those things, then it's on them. They're the ones with total control of the game. Like, they are the ones at bat. They're the ones pitching. They're the ones in the outfield. And the same thing goes for football and basketball. Hey, you're not making shots. You're not playing defense. I'm sure the coach is telling you, get up on him, close out, box out. He's telling you all those things. Block, open the hole, run the play. Like, ultimately, it does fall on the player's shoulders to execute and win games. Like, it's just one of those things because, I know we can go to Phil Jackson and say, well, Michael Jordan never won until he was coached by Phil Jackson. Kobe never won until he was coached by Phil Jackson. Yes, that's part of it as well. But ultimately, it lies on the players because those are the people out there actually playing the game. So I'll put a lot of the ownership on the players. I get what you're saying about, especially in baseball, because they do tinker a lot and changing lineups and putting players in different positions and pitching changes and everything like that. They have a bigger impact on the game than any other coach, in my opinion. But ultimately, I would have to say it's more on the players' wins and losses.
All right, 457-9464. Plus, by the way, we didn't even set this up at the beginning. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Head to the Justin Kinner Show. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Give the show a like and tune in to the Justin Kinner Show weekdays from 3 to 6 right here on 1410 ESPN Radio, streaming live at wingam.com. And, of course, we are live on Facebook and the ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. So, again, the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook and on YouTube as well. But 457-9464. Kev's going to take your calls now. I see some coming in that we'll get to here coming up in just a moment. But I'm curious, when I got into this argument with someone over the weekend about, whose responsibility is it? Is it players or managers, players, coaches in any sport? Obviously, I'm not saying that players do not play a role in the outcome of games. But we all know that what they're looking for is leadership, and leadership is, of course, coming from the manager, coming from the coach, and that's not just an opinion. I mean, that's the reality of sports from the beginning of time, as far as that's concerned. I wholeheartedly, put it on the manager. Now, as a counter on Twitter, I believe the guy's name was Brian, Kevin, he responded with, well, if it's all on the managers, then why are the players the ones getting paid millions and millions and billions of dollars? Very valid point. Mm-hmm. But again, every time a team loses, it's on the manager. Every time. And it's not even really an opinion. That's just the reality of it. I mean, if that's the case, based on his logic, Brian Price should have never been fired from the Reds, because, hey, it's not Brian Price's fault they weren't winning games, because the players should have won it. But this is where there's going to be that happy medium where something has to kind of merge there in the middle, mm-hmm. to where there's responsibility of players and managers. The bottom line is, though, the Reds have the players, and it's just not working out big picture right now for the Cincinnati Reds, and that's going to be interesting. But let's go to the phones. We got Steve. Steve, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yep. What you got for us?
I think when it comes to baseball, I feel like that's one of the only other sports that it's solely up to the players on that. When you look at like basketball and football, you have practice. You're practicing plays to run in the game. Like, yes, the players have to, go forth with those plays. Like, a wide receiver has to catch the ball, but it's up to the coaches in basketball, football. You run that play because you think this is what it's going to be. You watch tape. You don't run plays in baseball. You don't have practice. All right, guys, we're going to hit the ball to the left field, and you runners are going to,
If they did, the shift wouldn't exist. I agree with you. If managers could do that, the shift would not exist.
Right, but the coach can't help if the player doesn't swing at whatever pitch is seen. It's kind of up to the player to know what pitcher he's. Yes, in a way that the coach can put in the lineup, like you said, but ultimately it's coming down to the player to swing, not swing. Keep your eye on the ball. It's not, hey, coach, keep your eye on the ball and let the player know when to swing. It's up to the player to do that. It's up to the player to be in the outfield and have to see where the ball is going to catch that. When it comes to football, like the coach calls a play and a route, that's a specific route that player has to go, and it's up to the quarterback and everything to combine. That's a specific play call. You don't, like I said, you don't call plays in baseball to make sure you hit a home run.
No, and to be fair, and that's very valid, I guess. So maybe I can make the argument of managers may not be able to win you games, players win you games, but I do believe managers can lose you games, in the mindset of, think about how many games the Reds have lost this year because David Bell, the timing of which he pulls a starter, or the timing of which he makes a double switch, or the timing of which, for instance, a couple games ago, I think it was against the Royals, Joey Votto ended up, drawing a walk and getting on first base, and then they ended up putting Jankowski into pinch run. You should never take your top players out of a game, and then when it was time for Votto's position to come up later in the game with the game on the line, they had a bench guy in, and they didn't have their best player up in crunch time. All those decisions are on managers, and everyone always ridicules David Bell for his decision making and the timing in which he makes those decisions. So that's why I'm like, David Bell's mistakes you're going to cost your team a win or two here and there, but he just seems to do it too much.
Right. No, and I agree with that, because you got to put the players, where they need to go at the right time. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like football, if you got to call a specific play at a right time, mm-hmm. The manager or the coach or whoever's calling, all right, it's 3rd and 4. He's probably got how many plays at 3rd and 4. When it's bottom of the 7th and you got a guy on 3rd and 2nd, and you got to get a hit, you're not going, okay, let's call a hit to the right gap so that we score a run. It's just not how it works. It's up to the player to go, okay, I got to get a hit here. I got to watch out for the right pitch.
Absolutely. And Steve, thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Look, bottom line is that, yes, players play a role in the team's outcome, but the problem is when you have good players and you're not putting them in position to succeed, that to me will always be on the manager as far as that's concerned. Let's go to our Facebook reaction. Jennifer says, we are talking about the same fans that wanted Marvin Lewis around for so long. Absolutely. It's something in the water in Cincinnati. They love average coaching and managerial skills as far as that's concerned. On Facebook, Ron says it's up to GMs to get the right personnel. Absolutely. And I do believe that the GMs have got the right personnel, at least player-wise, not sold on who they have running the team. And then Benjamin Schweitzer, I believe, says it's Kinner time. It's Kinner time. I like that. It's Kinner time. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll step away for a few. If you're just tuning in, head to Facebook. Follow the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. We are live there. You can interact with the show. Leave your comments and questions in the comment section, and you can interact with us that way. Travco says they need to let Shogo lead off and get acclimated to that position. Get comfortable there. He's batting 184, and I can't blame him, especially whenever he never knows he's going to be hitting in the lineup. We don't need a 36-year-old turtle on base pads leading off. I agree with him. I don't know why you have your slowest, one of your slowest hitters leading off, or slowest runners leading off. It makes no dang sense to me as far as that's concerned. All right, folks, I appreciate you tuning in, interacting here early off the gate. We got plenty more to get into. Justin Fields was spotted at the Georgia scrimmage game over the weekend, visiting family and friends. Right. Go Bulldogs, baby. Justin Fields. I'm telling you right now, we all know where that's heading. Kev Nash just don't want to acknowledge it. Kinner might be right. But he'll be an outlier, though. Hey, Fournette's gone. We got plenty to get into. Kevin's rushing me out. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Partly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, then patchy fog, down to a low of 65. And tomorrow, patchy fog, then slight chance of thunderstorms with a high of 88. I'm Leanna Ray for 1410 ESPN Radio.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Meadmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tires, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Hi folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $14.95, plats of annuals starting at $12.95, and hanging baskets as low as $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry. So come out to 1309 Brant Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for something to do this fall? Join your friends in a fun fall league. Adult, youth, or mixed. Take your pick. Polking Bowling Centers has a fun program just for you, providing a safe and sanitized bowling environment. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for the list of fall programs. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Time to clean your car? We've got what you need. Our $25 premium car wash bucket deal has everything to keep your ride looking great inside and out. From McGuire's Gold Class Car Wash to interior detailer cleaner. And you can get it fast your way with our free same-day pickup, in-store, or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is a special end-of-summer announcement from Dell. At our Labor Day sale, small businesses can save up to 50% on select business computers with Intel Core processors. We're committed to taking your business to the next level. Give our small business technology advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solution for your business with Labor Day savings. Visit Dell.com/business deals or call us at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Ready to take on that painting project? Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 35% off paints and stains with sale prices starting at $25.02, August 27th through September 7th. With 35% off our exceptional paints and stains, you can give some color love to your bathroom, living room, or every room in your home. Shop in store or order online for curbside pickup. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Capital One knows life doesn't alert you about your credit card.
Hey, couch surfers, we've got nonstop tunes to keep you rocking while you work. Oh, and Colleen, yes, you Colleen with a K. Your free trial of Movie Plus ends tomorrow, and your card may be charged. Do you want to continue or cancel?
So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant. Eno looks out for surprise charges, like when free trials expire, and helps if you need to fix them. Eno, another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Limitations apply.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration.
You really
turning in 0.3 miles and begin a deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/Right Track.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
Always get your go-to with the new $10 Tastemaker from Pizza Hut. A large pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $10. Choose contactless delivery or curbside pickup at pizzahut.com. Price higher in some locations. Limited time offer. Availability of contactless curbside and delivery areas. Charges and minimums vary. Delivery charge not tipped.
Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green, the iconic cleaning formula known around the globe. Try a Simple Green product today, and if you're not 100% satisfied, I'll refund your money. Visit us at simplegreen.com.
If finding a high-impact hire is a goal for your business, use Indeed. You'll find lots of great candidates and no long-term contracts at Indeed.com/high-impact.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on The Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
Week 1 of the high school football season is in the books, and we now turn the page to week 2. And coming up on our ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week schedule, presented by Kettering Health Network Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. We wrapped up Centerville and Fairmont this past Friday night. Centerville coming away with a 21-20 win, a 1-point win, a very good game, a very close game. And we'll highlight that coming up here in just a moment. But we take a peek ahead to coming up this Friday night. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself, we will be live at Centerville for Springfield at Centerville. Both the Wildcats and the Elks come away with the GWAC Week 1 win. Centerville over Fairmont, and Springfield got a huge win over Wayne, and that sets up, of course, Coach Douglas and the Springfield Wildcats trying to get their second win of the season in a tough environment at Centerville. Now, you're probably saying a tough environment. There's hardly any fans there. Kev, I was really impressed Friday night. I want to give a shout out, to Fairmont. The way that they handled their first home game of the season was awesome. Very organized. They were on top of absolutely everything as far as, making sure people had their masks on, making sure that, the process of getting into the stadium went smoothly. I thought that they executed it perfectly. And I know it's not just Fairmont, it's all high schools across the board. You're going to have hiccups here and there, but they were on it. I give Mr. Weaver, the athletic director out there, a lot of credit to him, and his team did a fantastic job. And I know that Mr. DeMett coming up this weekend, athletic director at Centerville, is going to do a great job. Just got to make sure you give those local athletic directors a shout out, because there's so many. I mean, I heard it coming in. People were complaining about the masks. People were complaining about how come players can. I mean, literally, it's been made clear that tickets for family. There were still a bunch of people trying to get in. Just in general, that I don't have a kid that's playing, but just trying to get in and then complaining because they wouldn't let them in. I'm like, it's not the gatekeeper's fault why you can't get into the game. Right. It's not even the athletic director's fault. It's really no one's fault. Just follow the rules. Like it's that simple. The rules are this. You don't have to like them, but you got to follow them, and that's just the reality of it. So, just a shout out to all the high schools here in the area, because I know it's not easy dealing with all the angry parents right now. But not every parent's like that, to be fair, but they did a good job.
Yeah, man. One of my best friends, he's an AD for a high school up in Columbus, and him and I talked on Saturday, and I asked him how it went. And he was like, man, all in all, it went well, but it's going to be a long season because, these ADs in a regular world, in a normal situation, they're already running around there like a chicken with their head cut off because they have responsibilities of not only just football, but the other fall sports. So they're always bouncing around left and right, trying to get everything squared away, not only on game day, but there's a lot of prep that goes into actual Friday night. So you got that. And then you got the first week and all these new protocols that you put in place. So when you see your local AD at the game, don't shake his hand. Give him a good head nod. Tell him that you appreciate all the hard work that they did to make sure this season happened for the kids out there. The kids put in a lot of hard work over the summer, and now they're able to display their talents. But all that hard work doesn't happen without the athletic directors and their staff making this happen. So salute.
Yeah, and again, our week one matchup featured, of course, the Centerville Elks at Fairmont, and Centerville trailed 14-0 early. They were able to get a score before the half to make it 14-7, and then, of course, quite a few special teams blunders in the second half for Fairmont led to Centerville being able to come back, and it was 21-21. Fairmont had a chance to, or it was 21-20. After a touchdown for Fairmont, and they missed the extra kick, and of course, that led to the final 4 minutes plus. Chase Harrison and the Elks basically just, drowning out the clock, basically. And give Harrison credit, who's known for his arm, but he had a couple big pickups with his legs that were able to kind of ice that clock a little bit and keep them out of, play. So shout out to them. Harrison didn't even have his best game. I mean, Centerville was ugly. It was an ugly. I think any parent listening right now knows it was an ugly win. But that's what you expect. It was an ugly offseason. It was an ugly preseason. I mean, these kids up until 10 days ago didn't even know that they were actually going to play football. So, how good was the preseason up until 10 days ago before? So with everything going on, I thought both teams looked good. I know I got a lot of good reports from a lot of other games around the Miami Valley over the weekend. So good stuff. So this week, Centerville welcoming in Springfield. They got a big win over Wayne. And man, there's so many good quarterbacks in the GWAC this year. Tayshawn Smoot, looking forward to seeing him play Friday. Again, got to see Chase Harrison this past week. Looking forward to that coming up.
It's something that you mentioned in there, sloppy football, sloppy play.
Now the Bengals, they kick off into. Oh no, you're still in high school. My bad. Continue.
I'm expecting sloppy football on every level. I'm expecting sloppy football in the college ranks as well as the pros for the first couple weeks. Like you said, the offseason has been a debacle on every level, and no one's fault. It's just, we don't know if it's really going to happen. Having a bunch of kids in high school dialed in is tough. Then you have young adults in college, having them dialed in, that's going to be tough. You expect the grown adults in the NFL to be dialed in, but without those mini camps, we don't know. Like if they're expecting, you drafted a first round rookie tackle to go out there and protect your QB's blind side to perfection, don't hold your breath. It's going to be sloppy, but we'll have football nonetheless.
Now, one thing, and Keith Byers and I, we were keeping an eye around the game itself, just to see if we could pick up on some of the changes. One of the biggest, and it's not even a big change, it was just a weird one that we noticed, like the officials never touch the football. The referees never touch the football. They have a pink marker. I don't think the color matters, but they had a pink marker that, so running back gets tackled, taken down, the running back keeps the ball in his hand, and the official will come down, put a pink marker where the ball was down, and then they hand it to the center or whatever, and then the offense handles the ball the whole time. So Centerville handles their own football, Fairmont handles their own football. Don't fumble it because then you're going to contaminate it, right? Like, I mean, there were some turnovers.
Hold on to my pigskin, boy.
Yeah, Byers was like, that's the weirdest thing he'd ever seen because he said you're just so used to seeing the player get tackled, get up, and you underhand toss the football to the official. Nope, they handle their own football the entire time.
Isn't that similar to something the XFL did? Didn't have a spotter the entire game? Like the referees weren't responsible for spotting the ball. I'm almost positive they had an all-time spotter in the XFL this last go around, which I believe I'm almost 100% because I think we talked about it before. I really like that rule. That's one less thing that the actual referees have to worry about spotting the ball. Like they could just worry about, all the on the field action, holding, false starts, all that good stuff like that. I like that rule though. It's one less thing they got to worry about.
Hey, but I don't. Well, I mean, like I get it because of COVID, but at the end of the day, I mean, they can handle catching a football and placing it down where it goes. We don't need to make the ref's job any better. They just need to be better. That's all. Shout out to all my official friends out there.
Oh boy,
what? I'm just saying.
Wonder what they're gonna do when basketball comes around.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. I'm curious. For those of you who were fortunate to attend a high school football game over the weekend, what did you think? Was it as different as you thought? It was not as different as I thought it was going to be, Kev, because I thought that for social distancing purposes and, of course, limited fans, I thought Fairmont had a very loud section. Like I thought they did a pretty good job of filling up that entire side within, of course, the rules of, the X-off spots and everything like that. I thought they did a good job. And the atmosphere wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie. I was like, man, how awkward is this going to be? It's going to be like a ghost town. It really was not that bad. I thought Centerville had a pretty good, turnout on the other side. Again, I think a lot of people were probably like me expecting it to be very awkward and to be very empty, and it wasn't. You had the band there, you had the full stands on both sides, of course, sitting in the X-top spots. So overall, considering the changes, considering what everyone's going through, I thought that these kids, Kevin, are still getting one hell of a high school football experience. Like they're still getting to run out onto the field in front of a lot of screaming, loud fans. You still got the play of the band, you got the cheerleaders, everything that comes along with it. The kids are still getting that.
Yeah, so I saw you post that video. So the band, what were they doing?
I guess that's a little pregame march onto the field or whatever.
Okay.
Made me wait in my car, though. Don't make me wait in my car. I was honking the horn, and they're looking at me cheering like, yeah, he has school spirit. I'm like, get that out of the way.
How was that walk up those steps with the equipment?
Oh, it was bad. I was sweating, out of breath. It was not good. It was not good. But about to head to the gym and find one of those stair climbers and try to get prepped for the high school football season.
Man,
just to make it up to the press box.
I miss the gym so much, man.
Go back. Go back.
I'm too scared.
Why are you scared? You realize that it's probably one of the cleaner places that you'll go to?
Nah.
Yeah, it is. You think when you go to the grocery store, the stuff's being wiped down every 2 seconds?
I don't go. I send the wife.
Huh?
I send the wife.
Wow, man of the year here.
I cut the grass.
Shayla, I'm so sorry that you have to go through this.
I cut the grass and trim the hedges. She goes to the grocery store.
So you are sacrificing her to the COVID. To the Rona. You're Shayla, come on.
So you go to the grocery store?
Yes.
You are a liar.
Oh, no, I swear to you. I go to Nor doesn't go to the store. I have to go to the store. I go to the grocery. And in fact, when I go to the store, I'm one of those that even like she'll send me with the list. I crumble the list and toss it. I go up and down every aisle and we never forget anything because I hit every aisle, overspend like a mother. Oh. And it's so bad. It's a bad way. But no, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Like, so if she gives me a list, I'll go by the list and, oh, you forgot this. So you forgot this. No, it wasn't on the list. So she makes the list. And whenever I go, I don't pick up the right stuff. So we eliminated that a long time ago. Like, you want to buy what you want to buy, how you want to buy it, knock yourself out. You can go by yourself.
I promise you, for those afraid going to gyms, it's probably cleaner than your local grocery store. In fact, I promise you, the gym is cleaner than your local grocery store. Just the fat, sweaty guy walking towards you, just get out the way. Just scoot away from him. That's probably me if I go. I'm just saying.
I want to go back to the gym, man. I really want to, man, but I'm a little scared right now, man.
All right, 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. Okay, so to get back to where we were the last part of the show, it's interesting. Oh, real quick, Ron says, I watched my grandson play, and I thought it was different that the center would bring the ball up and place it. Never did see the officials touch the game ball. Yeah, that's what, and I bring that up because that's what Byers pointed out during the game. Is just some of the things you see that are different, and that's one of the bigger ones. Halftime is significantly shorter. They don't have food in the press box as a fat guy. I thought I earned the food walking up those. No, I'm just joking. But no, like lots of changes at the games. But again, none of the changes, in my opinion, have ruined the viewing experience or even the experience in general for the players. Matthew says, Kevin, go to the gym. Started a few weeks ago. Everyone is cleaning with sanitizer before and after. Wear a mask and you'll be fine. You don't want Kinner getting in better shape than you now, do you?
Uh-oh. Is that a challenge?
From the upper belly up, man, I'm getting huge, man. Well, I'm still huge belly-wise, but, I'm all about that.
No, I started riding my bike again. I've been going for walks for a while now, but, I miss the clanging of the weights, man.
Clanging and banging.
Yeah, man. I miss it.
All right, take this for what it's worth, but usually the Reds have a lineup out by now, especially for a game that starts at 6:40 tonight. No Reds lineup out as of right now. The Major League Baseball trade deadline is 20 minutes away. We are 20 minutes away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and the Reds, who I don't believe, outside of Trevor Bauer, that's the only name that I've heard floating around. In the last couple of trade deadlines, we have heard Raisel Iglesias' name get brought up on multiple occasions. I think he has pitched his way out of any interest from anybody, but nonetheless, we'll see if the Reds make a move. I don't think what they have is enough to get them in the playoffs right now. It should be, but they're again going up against some of their own internal problems, keeping them out of the playoffs. Will the Reds make a move? We'll keep an eye. 20 minutes. We'll talk Justin Fields and Georgia when we come back. Yes, Georgia. Georgia.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
It's the summer clearance event at New Carlisle Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At New Carlisle, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com, where you can complete all aspects of the vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit givewestwood.org. Givewestwood.org.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You really turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
I'm thinking of you. What kinder words could be more meaningful at a time like this? At First Florist and Greenhouses, we know everyone is coping the best they can. And when hugs are not possible, a kind word or gesture can bring comfort and a smile. So today, make that phone call or send a heartfelt note to someone you care about. And if you'd like to send a fresh bouquet of flowers, we can help with that. We're First Florist and Greenhouses at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton, a local family-owned business since 1905. And we're thinking of you.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from Home Advisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to Home Advisor's approval and terms. Valid for new Home Advisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 US only.
Paint? No, Paramount isn't just paint. It's the #1 paint in overall interior hide and stain resistance, providing the most advanced protection in just one coat. And now you can get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first of its kind one coat ready mix white provides a beautiful white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. In third-party tests, interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell sheen.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Tune in every Friday night at 7 o'clock for the ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Kettering Health Network Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and archive games. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
How about Danny Graves filling in? No, not filling in, by the way. He's been taking on a new role with the Reds broadcast team ever since, Thom taking a little bit of a hiatus.
Break.
A little bit of a break. Maybe it might be permanent. We don't know. But regardless, Thom Brenneman is no longer calling games, at least for the rest of this year. We don't know what the update is as far as his future with the Reds. But, I have found it interesting that, looking at kind of how the Reds have made their adjustments as far as that's concerned when it comes to filling that void. And I find it interesting, too. So Danny Graves, who, by the way, is not a fan of mine. He does not.
Oh.
He does not like me at all.
I thought everybody liked Kinner.
Nope. He blocked me on Twitter, and I pissed him off so bad on Twitter that he went and found me on Instagram and blocked me on Instagram as well. That's high class petty. Like, I can see if I make you mad on Twitter, you just get rid of me on Twitter. But the fact that you like, oh, F this guy, man, I'm gonna block you on Twitter. All right, where's my Instagram? All right, I'm logging into Instagram. Like, dude, seriously. like I've never had that happen. I've angered people to the point where they take me off Twitter, but then I'll go to Instagram and they you know what I mean? They're still like my stuff on Instagram. This guy went from taking me off Twitter, blocking me on Twitter, to looking me up on Instagram and blocking me on there too. And I don't even know what the hell I said.
Life comes at you.
I don't even know. And I say a lot. I have no clue what the hell I said. But he said an awful lot over the weekend that I actually found pretty humorous. He has Cubs fans all up in their feelings. Reds broadcaster, of course, talking about Graves, calls the Cubs entitled. He says that they start crying every time they don't get their way and that they think they are America's team. Again, I kind of like the edge. I like the edginess from Danny Graves over the weekend. And again, he was in the analyst booth. He wasn't even calling the game. He was in there with Giesenschlag. So nonetheless, he did make national headlines. I've come across 3 or 4 of these headlines throughout the day talking about that. I did find that kind of humorous, if you ask me.
How are they America's team?
I mean, who is America's team in baseball? I don't know.
The Yankees, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably. Like every sport has that one team that's like, I mean, like the Cowboys are. I mean, the Cowboys are called that. I don't know if they are. I mean, are the Patriots? Who's the face of the NFL right now, team wise? Is it still the Cowboys?
Cowboys, man.
I want to say Patriots, but I think it's the Cowboys still. And I'm not saying that as a Cowboys fan. You can back me up.
I think it is the Cowboys. I mean, I think we take ourselves outside the bubble. I'm a Steelers fan. You're a Browns fan. Outside of the normal things that we get in town, you get your Browns fans, you get your Bengals fans, you get your sprinkles of Steelers fans. The most fans that I know that aren't fans of those teams are Cowboys fans. By far. Tons of Cowboys fans. I don't know why. I don't know how. It just are.
You want to know the biggest group of fans in this city? I promise you. It's very strange, like at least from a backer standpoint. The Buffalo Bills. The Bills backers, I kid you not. The Wandering Griffin, I'm going to give them a shout out at Beaver Creek. Giving them a shout out here. I've worked with them in the past, and they literally have hundreds of Bills fans. I'm not joking. Hundreds of Bills fans that gather. They have the Bills backers group here, and there's one guy that heads it up, and there are literally hundreds of Bills fans that fill up different bars around the area. The last I heard, Wandering Griffin is word that they were gathering every Sunday for these games. Obviously, that might be different this year with everything going on. But isn't that crazy?
Very.
And I've never seen one Bills jersey in this city. I think it's like, I don't know if they come from out of the city and come to Dayton. I don't know if they some from Cincinnati, some from Columbus, Richmond, wherever, come here to congregate to watch those games. I don't know, but it is the strangest things. When he told me about that years ago, I was like, really? So they invited me. I came out one day. I'm like, holy crap, they weren't kidding. Hundreds. I'm not joking, at that restaurant, just watching the Bills.
What do they call the Buffalo Bills fans? The Buffalo Mafia or Bills Mafia?
Bills Mafia.
And they're like,
no one was jumping through tables or anything like that. So, I mean, are they really Bills fans if they're not jumping through tables? Let's be clear. But yeah, so there's that as far as that's concerned. By the way, we're getting a true American request, by the way. Justin says, what about the Browns American hero Hulk Hogan theme? Of course, because he was asking a little bit ago about the true American dude. So that, he is a fan favorite, and he called a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said he would be calling in more once we got closer to the season. But dude, it is 2 weeks away from the NFL season.
Are you doing fantasy football this year?
Yes, I actually did a draft last night. I don't do fantasy football. I'm not a big fan of it because I always get into it, and a couple weeks into the season, it's not that I stopped caring. I'll forget to set my lineup. And if I forget to set my lineup, I get pissed, and then I just don't check it the rest of the season because I'm like, whatever. Because if I then take it serious and get all the way to the end and come within one game or within one, I'll be furious because I'll be thinking about that. I do the key or the buy-in league with buyers or whatever. So you keep, you pick a team to win this weekend. If they win, you advance, but you can't pick that team the rest of the way moving forward. I like doing that stuff.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking about fantasy football again.
I drafted Lamar Jackson, by the way. I drafted my running back. 457-9464. You can call in and jump in on the conversation. I promise you we're going to get into this Justin Fields thing. I mean, we're all over today. Again, happy Monday. I hope you've all had a great day or a great weekend. And we still got plenty more. The trade deadline expires here in a few minutes, or at least about 7 minutes for Major League Baseball. Now, keep in mind, 4 o'clock hits. If the Reds haven't made a trade, it doesn't mean that a trade has not been made yet. The news might come out and trickle out later on throughout the day. We'll keep an eye out for that. But I do find it odd. I'm going to hit refresh one more time just to see if the Reds have put a lineup out. Usually they have it out by now. Someone said, "Oh, Justin, it's weird that the Reds lineup's not out." And I said, "Oh, relax." But I'm looking up. I'm like, it is going on 4 o'clock. Usually we have a Reds lineup out by that time. And no, they do not. not. So that's why you do have to keep an eye out for some of those things sometimes, is because they're not putting a lineup out because they don't know who's going to be available. So we shall find out. But Danny Graves, again, over the weekend, really stirred the pot with some Cubs fans, saying that the Cubs fans are entitled, that they start crying right away. And the Cubs, and I'm going to say this, Kevin, I hate the Cubs, but they are everything I wish that the Reds were. And I'm not just talking about from a winner standpoint. The Cubs when they're kind of an intimidating team. They have guys that step in that box and they just have this swagger about them that I just wish the Reds have. And I'm not like giving the Cubs too much credit here. Hear me out.
Rizzo.
But they just have a swag about them. They have this stuff we all get, swag. No, they have this swagger about them, man. Like they have this just like personality to them. And it started when they won the World Series, yes, but it's confidence. It's swag. It's confidence. It's everything I wish the Reds had. The Reds always have this, oh, wow, he's strung together a couple of hits. I hope he can keep it going. They're so cute and adorable. I hate that. I hate that the Reds are always looked at as this underdog story. It's ridiculous. I don't even get mad at the Cubs like I used to anymore, because I'm like, man, they just get it, man. They just get it. They are loud and obnoxious, and they
talking about
cheer
the
their
fans, or
no,
talking
the
about
team
the players?
itself. The team itself right now, the players right now, from the dugout. As much as it annoys me, they're having fun. They're cheering on their teammates. It's irritating as a Reds fan, but the whole time I'm like, rather than sit here and complain about who they are, wouldn't you want to be that? Like, we're acting like the Big Ten fans when it comes to Alabama. No, hear me out. No, like it drives me nuts when we get mad. Like when Ohio State fans and everyone gets mad at Alabama gets mad at Alabama because they schedule all these weak teams and blah blah blah. Well, you have the ability to schedule those same weak teams too. So why are you mad? Why, rather than sit here and brag about how you make it harder on yourself, why don't you do what they're doing? Because what they're doing is resulting in championships every other year. So it's kind of like this. Rather than we should hold our team to a higher standard than we hold opponents to. For sure. And Reds fans drive me nuts with that. We hold the Cubs and their fans to a standard of, you need to act like this. And I'm like, who are you to tell anybody how they need to act? Until you could figure out how to win, you don't get to tell anyone how they get to act. The Cubs, I give props to them. They've, just like the Indians, a good organization. They've continued to lose talent. They've had pieces leave the organization. They lose Madden after last year, and they keep rolling. Yeah. They're in first place in their division, just like the Indians. They're good organizations, and the Reds right now they're not a good organization. It's frustrating. I'm not going to rip the Cubs, man. They do their thing like they're supposed to, and that's all that matters. I wish the Reds would take some notes out of their playbook as opposed to try to get them to follow their way of finishing in second to last every year.
I think the problem with us as fans looking at the Cubs, they act like they're the Yankees or the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Like you got one in the last X amount of 100 years. You got one. Don't act like you've been doing this, like you've been doing it year after year after year, and you've been in contention year after year. You got one. Congratulations. But I think that's the fans' perspective. Like you got it. Now you haven't got it in like we're going on year 5 of that World Series championship. Yeah, you got it. Congratulations. You got the monkey off your back and all that good stuff. But when you look at it from a fan's perspective, you can't hang on to that championship forever. Like me, I'm a Florida State fan in football as well as a Buckeye fan. I can't bring up that national championship from 2013. It's 2020. We can't bring up the championship from.
Are you listening, Buckeye fans?
Yeah, I'm just saying. We talked about this before. How long can you keep bringing up that championship? How long can you say, well, we just won a championship? I think we just won a championship runs out after 4 years. After nobody's on the team that won that national championship, you can't say that anymore. If nobody's on that same roster when you last won your World Series. But the Cubs core
is there.
Yeah. Rizzo's there. Hayward's there. Who else?
Rizzo.
I almost said Chris Jackson.
Still got Baez and those guys.
I mean, they still got the dudes, but I'm just saying, and maybe it's sour grapes because that's supposed to be my championship. I'm supposed to be saying we just won a championship. Damn it.
Let's go Cubs. Come on, baby. What do you say? The Cubs are going to win possibly today. How about that? 457-9464. Let's go to, who do we got? Chicago Brian. I'm sure you're not a Reds fan just based on the nickname.
Oh, you know what I'm calling about.
Notre Dame football.
No, not today.
Not today. What's up, man?
I'm going to get to Mr. Danny Graves here in a second.
Oh, Mr. Danny Graves. I like it. He's my buddy.
I want to put my little 2 cents on America's team. ESPN did something right before 4th of July, but they did a list of America's teams. And they had, I think, 7 or 8 teams that qualified. They tried to get one from each sport. They had 2 for baseball. They had the Yankees and they had the Cubs because of the World Series being the highest rating in 30 years. That included a Red Sox breaking a curse, a White Sox breaking the curse, but it was the Cubs who had the highest rated World Series in 30 years. And it was also because you put the Cubs matching up against almost any major league team except maybe outside the Yankees. Even with the curse broken, the majority of Americans that are going to watch the World Series are still going to root for the Cubs. Now, let me get to Mr. Danny Graves here. This is what, now the 3rd time that either a broadcaster or a journalist.
Yeah, it didn't work out for Marty last time. He had to get security to escort him around Chicago when he bashed a Cubs fan. So,
yeah, this is the 3rd time that a broadcaster or a journalist or someone with red ties has taken a shot at the Cubs. The 2nd time, I let it go with Marty. He's a legend, and even though no one in Ohio reported it, he did take back his comments and said it was in the heat of the moment, and it was not even accurate, in his opinion, who he thought was the worst baseball fans were in America. Of course, no one in Ohio reported that when he took back his comments. But Mr. Danny Graves, if the Cubs are such crybabies, and I know Reds fans that will agree with me on this.
They are number 1.
But yet, the Reds are the only one claiming this title that the Cubs have. No one else is claiming. You don't hear from other fan bases saying, oh, the Cubs think this and that of themselves. Only the Reds.
Are you sure? Now, I'm asking you if you're sure with me not being sure. I just assumed that everyone hated the Cubs. And by the way, I hope to one day be a fan of a team that everyone hates the fan base because that means usually, like when a lot of people hate Ohio State fans, it's because they're winners. When people hate Cubs fans, you're a winner. You win a World Series. You win a lot of games. You talked about the rating success. That's usually a good thing. If I'm you, Brian, I wouldn't even be upset with it. I would wear it with as a badge of honor, man.
Well, I want to point one thing out. I think what Danny Graves' main problem is that the Cubs organization and their fans, when they think of the rivals, they think of the Brewers, they think of the Cardinals, they think even the White Sox. I can tell you when I go back home and I mention some of the things that are said about the Cubs from the Reds' point of view, they're shocked. They don't even think of the Reds as a rival. They're like, okay. Well,
what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Bengals and the Steelers rivalry, where a lot of people look at it as a rivalry, or at least a lot of Bengals fans do. But when you ask Pittsburgh fans, they don't look at the Bengals as a rival. I think it's starting to play like, I think Reds fans and Bengals fans like to try to create these rivalry, experiences, but they can't exist because you got to be competitive to be able to have a rival with somebody. And I think that's right. But Chicago Bride, man, thank you. Always good hearing from you. Expect to hear more from you too as we get closer to the playoffs, and since your Fighting Irish are going to be playing this fall and the Buckeyes aren't, I expect to hear a lot of that too coming up. Getting some reaction on Twitter, some on Facebook as well. Brady says they have one, but they have a year in. Talking about the World Series, they have one, but they have a year in and year out contenders mentality, and that's what the Reds are missing. Yeah, the Reds don't have that winners mentality. They have that. Well, I hope we can string together a few wins here and there, man. Just go grab the league and choke it out, man. Try it. Just try it. 1-800-CHOKE. Nope, can't do that one. We'll be back.
Oh, goodness.
What?
We're out. You're right. We're out.
1-800-CHOKE that.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit givewestwood.org. Givewestwood.org.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You're really turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/right track.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles. Base coverages only. Availability varies.
Morning.
How'd you get in my house, B?
Through the air conditioning vent. It's dark in there.
Go away.
How about some Honey Nut Cheerios?
Cheerios. Do I look like a child to you?
Honey Nut Cheerios are tasty and can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet. Did you just
No.
I'm pretty sure I heard a
It was my dryer.
You might want to get that thing checked out.
Have a change of heart. Honey Nut Cheerios. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Fall means cookies baking in your oven, a fresh outfit tumbling in your dryer, and afternoon snacks in your fridge. Get the appliances you want with the Home Depot and save up to 40% on select appliances. Get an LG stainless steel kitchen package and save almost $2,000. And get select new appliances delivered free. Make the most of fall with the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on purchases $396 or more. Gas range extra valid through September 16th. Continental U.S. only.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like blind spot assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP in a 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, Texas title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model, availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment is practice optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through August 31st, 2020.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here. WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on this Major League Baseball trade deadline edition of the Justin Kinner Show. Trade deadline is coming past. At least we are about 6-7 minutes past the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And, well, right now we just kind of sit and wait. Apparently the Reds have made a trade. It is not a blockbuster deal by any means. And we're kind of getting more information on that. We'll be able to announce that coming up here in just a second, waiting on the final information from the Reds. Seeing some stuff on Twitter. I'm going to wait just a few more moments. It's not a blockbuster deal. No big name for the Reds has been moved. Trevor Bauer, everyone's still in place. I guess there's another way to look at it too. No big name was brought in either. No Francisco Lindor, no Starling Marte, who by the way ended up with the Marlins. So I found that interesting that Starling Marte is on his way out and has a new home as well as far as that's concerned. We'll keep an eye on some of the big moves around Major League Baseball. The Padres just making big move after big move. They were able to go out and get Clevenger from the Indians. And again, the Indians just continue to unload not just talent, but like elite talent.
Yeah.
Like they moved on from Trevor Bauer. They moved on from Corey Kluber. They moved on from Clevenger. And yet they're just still sitting right there at the top of their division. Now, again, to your point, that the division is not that strong. but it's hard to win games.
Yeah.
The Reds are they're a prime example of an organization that struggles to win games with talent. And they are managed that way. Now, speaking of managed in the Reds, David Bell suspended for tonight's game against the Cardinals.
Did not know that.
Yeah, suspended for a shouting outbreak from over the weekend with the Cubs. It's absolutely FCC non-approved words. And I am defending Bell here. How you could be suspended for a shouting match is beyond me. He must have really said some mean things about that umpire's mom. That's really where it's really coming down to. Also, Jesse Winker is suspended for tonight's game. Joey Votto, who is also involved. Again, it was Winker who got ejected. Votto got ejected. Bell got ejected, which should have helped the Reds, win. But Bell, maybe the Reds win tonight. How much you want to bet the Reds? The Reds win tonight because no David Bell. That's what happens when David Bell's not on the sideline like it's a basketball game. When David Bell's not in the dugout, they win. They're going to win tonight. So great news, Reds fans. The Reds will bounce back after losing 10-1 to the Cubs last night, or 10-2, whatever it was, and get a win because there will be no David Bell as far as that's concerned.
And if they lose?
Well, then I still think David Bell was managing secretly from the dugout as far as that is concerned. So one more time, I'm going to look up one more time just to see if the Reds have announced officially anything that they've been able to do right here at the deadline. So it says Ken Rosenthal says Reds get Archie Bradley and Brian Goodwin from the Angels. So I do find that interesting. ESPN's Jeff Passan says Arizona with its third trade of the final hour after moving Starling Marte and Andrew Chaffin. Again, I said Starling Marte away from the Diamondbacks. Closer Archie Bradley is going to the Cincinnati Reds. That could be an intriguing move right there because a lot of people have been keeping an eye on what Raciel Iglesias has been doing or not doing for the Cincinnati Reds. That's an interesting one right there. So the Reds didn't just make one move. They've made a few moves. I don't think any of these are, eye-opening moves. However, I do look at the addition of Archie Bradley as a move that I think the Reds needed to make, at least as a bullpen from a bullpen standpoint. I like that they did not move Trevor Bauer, getting a lot of reaction on Twitter now saying they wish they would have moved on from Bauer. They could have got some prospects to kind of replenish that system, that the Reds have enough to make the playoffs even without Bauer if they go on a run, and at least they have something in the system. Bottom line is I don't believe you get that much back for Trevor Bauer. I think the last I read he's owed like $2 million still.
Right.
No one is going to trade by the way, this isn't like a second half deal in July where you have the second half of July, all of August, and all of September. You're not getting whatever team would trade for Trevor Bauer, you're not getting him for 2.5 months and then postseason. You would be getting him for a month and 20-something games. No, it's not like Trevor Bauer's value. The 60-game season depleted his value at the trade deadline if the Reds had any intention of moving him. I think that the Reds are going to, kind of kick the tires on potentially trying to re-sign him. He has made comments in the past about wanting to stay in Cincinnati. Who was it? When Joe Burrow got drafted, Trevor Bauer tweeted at Joe Burrow, again, for the Bengals football. I get it. Joe Burrow was drafted by the Bengals. Trevor Bauer that night tweets Joe Burrow saying, "Welcome to Cincinnati. Looking forward to our teams winning many championships moving forward." That was Trevor Bauer. And you can't win many championships moving forward together if you're not playing in that same city. Who knows? Could just been a nice little welcoming committee message. Bottom line is I'm glad the Reds didn't move on from Bauer. I like the addition of Archie Bradley, and I'm not going to pretend that I know a whole lot about Brian Goodwin. However, a lot of people are coming to bat for Aristides Aquino right now. Aquino just continuing to get the shaft as far as opportunities. Every time he does get limited opportunities, he makes it count. And the Reds are not really committed to him. He had such a dominant August and such a crappy September that I think that even right now the Reds are still kind of not buying into what he brings to the table. But 457-9464, if you want to jump in on the conversation, we will open up the phone lines to you. We'll also get your reaction in the comments section. We are live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Leave your comments in the comments section, and we'll be able to respond to you that way. Doug Toby on Facebook says, Kevin, that for those of you who were around during 75-76, I was born in 89, so Doug, that eliminates me. But no, Doug says that for those of you who were around during the 75-76 season, the Reds were hated just like the Cubs.
Really?
But the Reds were, they were what teams aspired to be. They were the winning team during that stretch. I can remember, he says, that some games in Chicago when we would beat them by 15 runs. And right now the Reds are just on the opposite end of that history as far as that's concerned. Ron says, by the way, that the Rays payroll he's a Rays fan. He's from that Tampa area. That's why he's a
first place.
Yeah, that's why he's a big Tampa Buccaneers fan. Tampa. He's a Tampa Bay fan. He says that the Rays payroll is small, but seems to always have quality pitching and low payroll players every year. Exactly. That's why you can't use small market as an excuse. If you have a good or if you have good scouts and if you're able to get a good farm system put together, you should be okay. That's what I love about the Indians.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have pitching out the wazoo. You lost Kluber and Bauer before losing Clevenger, and you still had a top 5 pitching staff. How do you lose 2 of the best pitchers in baseball and still have a top 5 pitching rotation? That's a great organization that's called, building talent, developing talent, and good for the Indians as far as that's concerned. But right now the Reds, they didn't make any earth-shattering moves, and I think that's a good thing as far as that is concerned. But we'll get into more of that coming up as soon as we get more information on what just transpired during the Major League Baseball trade deadline. The Reds are set up to win games, but they shouldn't be trying to play catch up. They should already be holding on to a playoff spot as far as that's concerned. All right, Buckeye fans, let's have some fun with this one, shall we? Justin Fields over the weekend was spotted at the Georgia scrimmage with friends and family. Now, that's all I tweeted out. All right, now I opened it up. I opened up the article. I think it was 24/7 Sports. Everyone had an article on it, but I think theirs is the one I had opened first. It says that he was just there visiting friends and family. You could spin that however you want. I believe that he was there visiting friends and family, but okay. And I'm not trying to be funny here because I could see some of these comments and words going with the race thing that happened at Georgia. I'm not trying to spin that. However, I do believe some of that stuff could have been maybe positioned to favor Justin Fields to get out of Georgia because he couldn't just go and demand a transfer waiver with saying, well, I'm not the starter and I want to play, so I want out of here. I do believe that he is not lying about what happened on that campus. In fact, the player got kicked out of their athletics program because of it. So I believe that happened. That racial situation happened. I just don't think that it had, impacted him as greatly as what he positioned it to be able to get that waiver. Now, I say that sounding insensitive to the point that you would think that if that thing happened, that university would just be something you want nothing to do with. I don't care about the sister playing there and the parents. That's one thing. But again, you're going back. You put a comment out in December that Kirby Smart said that he's always welcome to come back and play there, which by the way has to be some kind of weird comment through the media that should get somebody in trouble. That's called tampering. That's called tampering in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, I think that right now Magic Johnson's like, I would have been fine for that one. Again, knowing how I am, I'm probably looking too much into this, but I don't believe in coincidences at all. I just don't. And I believe when there's smoke, there's fire. And by the way, this is not a bad thing. I don't know why we're talking about this as if, oh man, I can't believe this probably should happen. If the Big Ten, if they want to be morons, Justin Fields should not be a casualty of the morons that run the Big Ten. If he does go and play at Georgia, more power to him. The clock is kind of ticking. But I don't put that visit over the weekend. You mean to tell me that there wasn't one conversation about him going to play there? You mean to tell me that Kirby didn't send one little messenger over to kind of drop some things in his ear? All I'm saying is I don't believe in coincidences. I just trust me. He wasn't just there visiting friends and family. Let's just put it that way, in my opinion.
You can't put anything past the year 2020. Anything is possible in 2020. It's a possibility. There's a possibility.
Anything's possible.
100%. There's a possibility that Justin Fields is suiting up again for the Bulldogs again. But my only question to Fields would be, would you be doing yourself a disservice because you transferred to Ohio State partly to be coached by Ryan Day because you felt like you were getting coached up enough at Georgia and you weren't going to be the starter, but mostly you saw what Ryan Day was able to do with Dwayne Haskins and you wanted to play for that coach because you felt that coach could get you prepared for the NFL. What has Georgia done to make you say, all right, I'm gonna go back there and be coached by them? You gonna hand the ball off to Zamir White 25 times a game, hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook's little brother 15 times a game? Is that what you're going to be doing? We don't know, but like that is their offense. That is the style of offense that they're going to run. I know they brought in a new OC. They allegedly are going to be opening things up a little bit more. we'll see if that happens. But from everything we know about Kirby Smart, it is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. If you want to say anything about him, it's almost looking at Jim Tressel in the face. That's what his offense looks like. That's what his offense has looked like since he's been at Georgia. I know they're supposed to be opening things up. What an air raid attack this upcoming season, we'll see. But for Justin Fields, if you don't play football this year in college, I truly think it's better for you to go hire a quarterback coach and get ready for the NFL, because that's what you want to ultimately do. I don't think the best move will be going to play for another school that starts in 2 weeks and just showing up on their campus like, hey, let me play quarterback here. Come on down. Like, I think it's a bad move. I think it would be bad because you won't have so much timing going on with your teammates and everything like that. I just think it's Ohio State or bust, Ohio State or draft. So do you, Justin Fields? It's your world, but that's where I will be at with it.
Yeah, again, over the weekend, Justin Fields spotted at a Georgia practice.
Spotted.
A scrimmage. Now, keep in mind,
paparazzi.
Here's why this
Athens, Georgia.
Here's why I also think there's more into this than, if Justin Fields truly believes that the Big Ten is maybe working out some kind of plan to play in November, it's not a good look to still be, even if that's where you're at, your friends and family live in Georgia, that's fine. You go visit them. I don't care. It's still not a good look to be around. Where is the, I don't want to use the word legalities, but the rules of that? Like, is that allowed? Are you allowed to be at another team's practice?
I don't see why not.
But Kevin, would a Georgia player be allowed at an Ohio State practice? Like, wouldn't that?
Like you said, we don't matter. We're not playing, right?
No, I get, but again, that's how I'm framing it. But big picture,
it's weird and a bad look.
Couldn't Ohio State try to be like kind of bringing up some red flags to the NCAA, saying, "Hey, what's going on there?" or vice versa? I mean, technically, Ohio State's players shouldn't be there. It's just a weird look to me, even if it's innocent, which I don't think it is, because I don't believe in coincidences. Okay, I don't believe that was just I'm visiting friends and family. So there's that part of it. But I also find it weird. Like, as a Buckeye fan, I would be a little annoyed with Justin Fields saying, okay, as of right now, you're doing all this talking and chirping about, hey, I'm going on ESPN, I'm going on CNN, I'm doing all these shows to talk about why I'm speaking up for we want answers, we want to play. But now, you want to play this fall. That's fine. I respect that. But playing this fall means playing at Georgia. And to your point, all of those concerns you had about why go play at Georgia, he obviously I think he's aware enough of those concerns and aware enough to overlook them, because he was able to overlook them the first time when he initially signed with Georgia. Maybe there's a deal behind this, not a deal, but like hey, right now we have Jake Fromm. We're coming off a national championship appearance. We're not going to rock that boat. We're in good shape. But however, here's our plan for when we get you in the offense, how we would run things. Maybe that's what's going on here. Hey, here's how we were planning on running things with the way that things are shaped now. But here's what we could do for you. If you came to our offense, we would do X, Y, and Z. Until we see Georgia totally, screw up a quarterback like Justin Fields, I don't think it's fair to just assume that he would not work out at Georgia, because clearly there's conversations behind the doors of what would entice him to come back. Again, we're speculating. There's no reports out there that he is going to Georgia, but this is weird because of all the rumors that have circulated about that potential opportunity for him. If the Big Ten's not playing, it could make sense. And Billy says that doesn't his sister go to Georgia? Yes, she does. Like, she signed, I think, after he had transferred from Ohio State or something. There. So, but yeah, again, I don't have an issue with it. Maybe, again, we're probably looking into it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a sensitive situation, especially us as being Buckeyes fans. Like, we already got Coach O trying to pluck Sean Wade, and now we got this situation with Fields. What would you tell Fields to do if he came to you, said, Justin, what should I do? What should I do?
I have no problem with him playing.
No, I'm saying he what should he do?
Play. If he wants to play in the fall, play. I think you're only hurting yourself by not playing. Can you do damage by playing? Yes. But the only quarterback that has a number 1 overall pick grade handed to him right now is Trevor Lawrence. Justin Fields has so much more to gain than lose. And if he is as good as what he and everyone believes he is, yes, play. You could only help yourself. Now, if you're a fraud, then I'd be concerned. It's not like he's viewed as like Jalen Hurts, where it was like, man, he's good, but there's a lot of flaws. I mean, he's good. He's the real deal. The only knock that's going to go against him is not enough games started, and that's where Georgia would help him. Again, he could go there, and you're right. They could butcher it. They could butcher it, but at the same time, that's also a winning program.
Oh, for sure. They win games.
It gets the national championship.
They win games, but it's not necessarily. It's a collective. It's not necessarily all right. They're winning because their quarterback is so outstanding. Like Ohio State was always winning games, but then once they plugged in an outstanding quarterback, the numbers just went through the roof. The wins 27-17 turned into 45-10. Like when you plug in a pro style quarterback, a quarterback that can potentially play in the NFL, the numbers just go through the roof. So I mean, I get it. I think he has more to lose by showing up anywhere but Ohio State, just because I think that Ryan Day is that good of a coach and can put him in the best positions to show his talent.
And go to Oklahoma, because technically, the best young coach when it comes to quarterbacks right now, that's Lincoln Riley, not Ryan Day. Lincoln Riley has more of the track record of doing that. Ryan Day has 1 year of Justin Fields and Urban Meyer's talent. So Lincoln Riley would be the quarterback, would be the coach I would, of all the coaches out there, if I'm Justin Fields, the coach I would trust more than any coach out there outside of Ryan Day is Lincoln Riley. As far as that goes, you're right. But again, I don't believe in coincidences, but the one thing I'll continue to agree with you on is the timing. Right now, the clock is ticking. Tomorrow's September 1st. It's September 1st.
Yeah, man, you got to get waivers. You got to get enrolled in class.
Well, the NCAA acts quickly. The NCAA is all about acting quick, man. Come on. Ron says he knows Kirby Smart's system. Again, Facebook reaction here. Ron says he knows Kirby Smart's system. He could plug right in. Ron, the problem is it's a new system. That would be like saying that about last year's LSU team. They go out and get the Brady guy who has a whole new offense. Mm-hmm. That wasn't Ed Orgeron's offense. That was the offensive coordinator, and that's what's basically happened here. Georgia's bringing in just the opposite of what LSU did, which, by the way, is so stupid. A copycat sport, and you're going to go against what worked last year for the national champion within your own conference. Makes no sense. All right, Leonard Fournette was released today. Where could he end up? I think it could impact the Browns and Bengals, not for the reasons you think. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Partly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, then patchy fog, down to a low of 65. And tomorrow, patchy fog, then slight chance of thunderstorms with a high of 88. I'm Leanna Ray for 1410 ESPN Radio.
These are the sounds of children playing and families laughing. But these sounds were cut short. Cut short because Ohio doesn't require gates and lights at every railroad crossing. Crossbucks and stop signs? Really? Crossbucks and stop signs just aren't enough. But you can help. Report unsafe railroad crossings at angelsontrack.org. Because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by OAB and this station.
Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
KeyRoofing.com.
It's the summer clearance event at Key Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At Key, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com where you can complete all the aspects of a vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Not so long ago, lots of things made people happy.
I used to love going to the gym.
I miss saying good morning to my coworkers. Today, there are still things that can make people happy.
Oh, how pretty.
A beautiful bouquet of flowers will definitely make someone happy.
First Florist and Greenhouses can help you make someone happy. Go to firsttheflorist.com, choose a bouquet, and they'll deliver it safely. Make someone happy with First Florist and Greenhouses.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Hooray fans, listen up. This season, Pepsi is looking for one Bengals fan to sign a fan endorsement deal. The winner gets gear, season tickets, a photo shoot, a billboard, and so much more. All you have to do is participate in the weekly challenges at MadeForBengalsWatching.com, and you could be named the official Hooray fan. So, are you Bengals enough? Pepsi, made for football watching. Open to residents of Indiana and Ohio. 18 plus. For rules, visit MadeForBengalsWatching.com. Contest ends 11/21/20. Grab some delicious, refreshing Pepsi at Kroger before the next Bengals game day. Pepsi, made for football watching. Head to Kroger and grab Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Montgomery County Veterans. The Montgomery County Veterans Services Commission is here to serve you. You served your country, and now it's time we served you. You're entitled to various VA benefits as a direct result of your service, to include compensation, pension, burial, and education. Call 937-225-4801 or online at mcvsc.org. The time is now. Come to the old St. Elizabeth Hospital next to the Kindred Hospital, and we'll be there to serve you. That number again is 937-225-4801.
Ready to take on that painting project? Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 35% off paints and stains with sale prices starting at $25.02, August 27th through September 7th. With 35% off our exceptional paints and stains, you can give some color love to your bathroom, living room, or every room in your home. Shop in store or order online for curbside pickup. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Where's the money, Karen?
I'm sorry, the money?
The money you saved by having Liberty Mutual customize your home insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, that money. I used it to add to my collection of clown paintings. Take a look.
Amazing. Wow.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Always get your go-to with the new $10 tastemaker from Pizza Hut. A large pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $10. Choose contactless delivery or curbside pickup at pizzahut.com. Price higher in some locations. Limited time offer. Availability of contactless curbside and delivery areas. Charges and minimums vary. Delivery charge not tipped.
Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green, the iconic cleaning formula known around the globe. Try a Simple Green product today, and if you're not 100% satisfied, I'll refund your money. Visit us at simplegreen.com.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens, and all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every home run.
It is gone into the second deck and left. A 2-run home run by Eugenio Suarez.
Cincinnati Reds baseball. Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds. 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kev, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. All right, so let's dive into this, okay? Like the Cincinnati Reds made a few moves at this trade deadline. The Major League Baseball trade deadline expired at 4 o'clock, about 35 minutes ago, and we weren't sure what the Reds' role was going to be this trade deadline. We do know that the Reds never act quickly. They never make any move. It's like they literally wait to pull the trigger into the very last second possible. I mean, every year it's the same exact thing. Every year we are waiting to that final few moments of the trade deadline before we finally hear what the Reds do. So, again, very interesting nonetheless. But the Reds do make a couple of interesting moves. Now, they go out and they acquire outfielder Brian Goodwin from the Angels. A little bit about Brian Goodwin. Again, hits .242, has 17 RBIs on the season, 4 home runs, 23 hits. And, again, just a veteran guy that they're going to be able to rely on in that outfield right now with Nick Senzel. We don't know how much longer his absence is going to be. There was no official announcement as to what exactly has led to the long, the long stretch on the IL for Nick Senzel. But keep in mind, we kind of have an idea that it had to do with that COVID scare from a few weekends ago. We have not seen them since. So they're going to need some help as far as the outfield is concerned. Now, to counter that, the Cincinnati Reds also made an announcement that they have optioned recalled Aristides Aquino, and they've optioned Joel Kuhnel. So Aristides Aquino in the lineup tonight. A lot of people were fired up about why are we not seeing more opportunities for Aristides Aquino. We will get to see Aristides Aquino tonight in the lineup. I do not know when we will be able to see Brian Goodwin make his Reds debut. I like the addition of Goodwin. I don't think it's not a huge get, but again, it's just a guy that I think that right now could play right away and possibly make an impact right away. Good defender in the outfield and just a good, solid guy with the bat in his hand. We'll see what he brings to the table for the Reds. But the most interesting trade or the most interesting move that the Reds made was going out and acquiring a closer with Archie Bradley. They were able to get Archie Bradley, again, from the Diamondbacks right now on the season, has 6 saves. All right, that's top 10. I believe he's 9th in Major League Baseball with 6 saves. Has an ERA at 4.22, 12 strikeouts, and there you go right now. Again, 3 saves. Well, who knows when we're going to get to see him with the Reds. 3 saves came at home with the Diamondbacks, and whatever that means. Again, I'm reading what the Reds have sent me here in front of me, but look, the bottom line is that the Reds needed help in that bullpen, and I don't know how much better Archie Bradley makes this Reds team. However, they are going to have a closer that they probably feel more confident in going to late in ball games. I think Iglesias, the Reds have lost confidence in his ability to be able to go out there in big, high leverage situations and close a game out. But I will say that a lot of these games that the Reds have lost, especially in 2020, have not come at the hands of Iglesias. A lot of the tough losses that the Reds have faced, especially in 2020, have not come at the losing late in a ball game. A lot of times these games are lost in the middle of a ball game. These games are lost when David Bell goes to the bullpen too soon, and the bullpen comes in and gives up a couple daggers, gives up a couple bombs. I think that's a problem. The bullpen has been the issue, and I don't think Iglesias has been the biggest issue when you start prioritizing where the Reds needed to address some of their issues. I believe offensively right now is really what the Reds needed to address. That's why I like the Goodwin trade. I still wish the Reds would be a little bit more aggressive as far as trying to figure out what's going on offensively. There is no excuse why this team is not hitting the baseball right now. Yes, a lot of it does come down to player responsibility, to being able to do their part. I do think that Moustakas needs to be more consistent. He has been inconsistent as far as time in the lineup. A lot of that has come from injuries and the COVID scare early in the season. He has to produce. He was paid to produce. That's why the Reds went out and got him in the offseason. I can't complain too much about Castellanos. He definitely cooled down. He was not going to hit 400 all season. He was an MVP favorite, or at least in the conversation the first couple weeks of the season, which I thought was foolish. We should never talk MVP favorites at all in the first couple weeks of any season. I don't care if it was a 60-game season, but the guy is still leading the team in every major statistical category offensively, and he's still going to be one of their main cogs offensively the rest of the way. It's really going to come down to what can you get out of Eugenio Suarez. I'm not going to give Joey Votto a pass, but I don't think Joey Votto all of a sudden heating up is going to lead the Reds to a playoff appearance. I think it's going to come down to Eugenio Suarez complementing what we're already getting from Nick Castellanos. And yes, even Jesse Winker, who I bashed early in the season, right now, they're leaving him in the lineup against lefty hitters, still not hit, or lefty pitchers, not hitting well against lefties, but still hitting at such a high clip right now that the Reds have to be able to keep him in that lineup on a nightly basis. He will not be in the lineup later tonight after serving a suspension for the Reds' little shouting match with the Cubbies over the weekend, but that's a conversation to come up for later. But 457-9464 Reds fans, I want to hear from you. How do these trades do anything for you? Does going out and getting another outfielder and Brian Goodwin from the Angels, does that make you better? All right, they just called up Aristides Aquino. That to me, if Aquino can continue to deliver, I think that helps the Reds big time. They need pop. They need some. They need some kind of life in that lineup. Whether it's Aristides Aquino, whether it's Brian Goodwin, whether it's going out and doing what I said, which was, hey, go get Yasiel Puig. Like, why did you even trade for Brian Goodwin when you could have went out and got a Yasiel Puig? Could Yasiel Puig not hit 242, Kev? Like, you know what I mean? Like, again,
I want my Indians to grab him.
And they're another one that, too, they're looking for it's no different than a year ago at this time at the deadline. The Indians were looking for a power bat in the outfield. Well, they addressed that by moving on from Bauer and going to get Yasiel Puig. Yeah. And Puig played a huge role in their run to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And, he had a couple big plays in the playoffs as well. My point is this. Yasiel Puig deserves to be on a roster.
Absolutely.
I have no clue why he's not on a roster. He did test positive for the coronavirus at the very beginning of the season. The Atlanta Braves signed him.
Right.
He did not pass the physical because he tested positive for the virus, but he is vanished. He's disappeared. Now, maybe behind the scenes, his agent has had conversations with teams. Maybe Yasiel Puig has not kept himself in shape, Kev. Maybe I have no clue. The Puig thing is the most interesting thing in the world to me. I think he's one of the biggest stars in baseball. Talent-wise, there's a lot of better outfielders than him, but there's not many stars in baseball. He's a star. He's polarizing. He has so much charisma. He could be a face of an organization even if he hits 260. I mean, he is that kind of guy. I just don't get how he doesn't have a shot right now. The Indians can go and sign him. The Reds should go and sign him. Why would you give up pieces to go get an outfielder when you can sign Yasiel Puig as far as
I agree 1,000%, especially with the Indians feeling that everything that Clevenger lied about and everything like that, they traded him to the Padres.
Yep.
And, the young guy, Tristan McKenzie for the Tribe is playing some great baseball, pitching his butt off and everything like that. So basically kind of made Clevenger expendable. But like you said, we need more bats. The bats have really never awakened for the Tribe this season. And you have a couple spurts here. I know they just recently lost last night after like a 3 or 4 game winning streak to get them back in first place in the AL Central. But you got to start scoring some runs. Like, you can't expect to keep winning games 3-2. Like, you just can't. You got to get some of those games where, like, all right, man, you're going to need some pop in the lineup where you're winning 8-6, 8-7, 9-8. Like, you got to get some more runs on the board, and Yasiel Puig can help you do that. And he's out there for anybody to get, not just the Reds, not just the Indians. It's a whole league, and nobody's picking them up. I mean, at this rate, the Padres going to get them.
Any team that is complaining that they don't have life offensively, that's on you. When you're not going to attempt to go sign Yasiel Puig, like Reds, I don't want to hear from you. Oh, and Indians, same thing. Oh, we're trying to figure it out offensively. We just don't have any spark. You are choosing to not get the spark. Because, by the way, the Reds did move on from Josh Van Meter. Again, I thought he was a great utility player. But the Josh Van Meters of the world drive me nuts. Mark Payton's kind of the same way with the Reds right now. I'm tired of hearing, well, you got to give him time to see what you have. When you are constantly giving time to a Van Meter or a Payton, and you're taking away time from guys that you know what you're going to get with the Yasiel Puig, or going out and getting a guy like Brian Goodwin, who I'm a fan of right now, look, the Reds, they were smart today with going to get Goodwin from the Angels. I like the addition of Archie Bradley. I think that's huge. By the way, yeah, Robert Hicks, he writes it on Facebook. The Reds get Archie Bradley. Anyone else hear that? Yes. That obviously has been, without hearing officially from the Reds, every reporter out there, including ESPN, has him officially on their roster already, so that didn't take long. But Archie Bradley, look, he's top 10 in the league in saves, and we just need a guy that can go in and close out a game, and you not have to have knots in your stomach being terrified about what's going to happen, because Horacio Iglesias, you never know what you're going to get with them. I do like that they kept Iglesias, though. I do believe that if you're going to be able to leverage Archie Bradley and Iglesias, you might be able to maybe take Iglesias out of that closer situation and bring him in the seventh inning. Maybe give him some of that middle relief time. David Bell has some things to work with now here. I do like the depth that Archie Bradley provides for the Reds in the back of that bullpen, and I like the depth as far as an offensive weapon is concerned, as far as what Brian Goodwin brings to the table. I'm not sure yet who was involved in that Goodwin deal. I'll keep an eye out for that and let you know soon. But 457-9464. Let's go. We got Ron. Ron's on hold?
The Ron.
What's up, Ron?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Ain't talked to you in a while.
How are you?
Beautiful day. I'm doing great, man.
It's been by the way, yesterday was awesome. Today's awesome. I mean, this is my favorite time of year, when you're not hit with a blanket of humidity when you walk outside, man. It is nice.
It is. It's beautiful. And but I just wanted to say, I don't think the trade deadline is the Reds' nightmare. It's the coach. I mean, the manager. I mean, they could get the best line. They could have a Yankees all-star lineup, and he would find a way to screw it up. I'm telling you. He would mess it up.
I can't argue with you. I know I lay it thick when it comes to David Bell, but it's like I have zero patience for coaches and managers. But like, for instance, I think back to Brian Price. Brian Price would have killed to have this opportunity. Brian Price would have killed to have a roster that he could have tried to compete with, and he was given a playoff. Like, thinking back to Brian Price, they gave him a playoff roster, but let's not get it twisted. They gave him a playoff roster to take it away from him. They were giving him a playoff roster that they were going to start plucking guys away from one by one. So Brian Price was never set up to succeed. David Bell was set up to succeed, and he's failed in every way possible.
I mean, if they would have went a little extra and got like a John Farrell, you don't think the discipline would be a lot better?
He was in their system. I'm not really sure what happened there. I don't know. I don't want to accuse the Castellinis of being cheap in this situation, because they opened up their wallet this past offseason, spent $160 million, but they also had Joe Girardi. It was the two finalists for the Reds job was World Series champion Joe Girardi and David Bell. Which one do you think was cheaper, Ron? That's what I think it came down to be honest with you. That's what I really think.
Dollar Tree special.
I think, with a coupon on top of it. I mean, that's really what the Reds have gotten at this point.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. I mean, the Reds can do. I mean, Castellanos, he was just killing it. I mean, and Suarez, he's starting to heat up. I mean, it's just he makes stupid. I mean, he pulls pitchers too quick. Lorenzen should be the first one out. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man.
No, you're saying a lot of the same things I've been thinking all season. We'll see. Like I said, if the Reds make the playoffs, great. But the Reds are too talented to be scraping their way into the postseason right now. And there's a good chance they don't make it. But the fact that we're talking about what does this team have to do to get in, we really should not have been talking about the Reds this heavily at the deadline, because they had enough to win. And David Bell's not winning with that. I don't know. I mean, I want to be confident, but how am I supposed to feel confident in his ability to win with these couple pieces of talents coming in that he couldn't already do with the talent that the Reds and the Castellinis gave him this past offseason? We'll see. I'm pulling for the Reds to make the playoffs, but every time I start to feel confident, they go on this 2 or 3 game losing streak, and it just totally ruins it.
Right. Yeah, my Rays are kicking butt, and they got the Yankees for a series, and they got them lucky. They kick them while they're kicking them while they're down, man. They got their sluggers.
Yeah, I think the Yankees' biggest opponent throughout this entire, not rebuild for them, but this retooling, their health, man. They can't stay healthy. Between Sanchez, between Judge, but everybody, they cannot keep their stars on the field. It's, I'm sure you're not losing sleep at night about it, but man, they've tried, but they just can't keep guys on the field.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw one more thing at you.
Go ahead.
I mean, I saw a story over the weekend, like college football is going to start. Well, Auburn just tested 16 players positive. So how's that going to affect their decision on what's going on.
I used to get really big-eyed about that, but we've seen too many programs who haven't batted an eye. You had, Alabama. You sent me a thing over the weekend, Kev, that there are reports that there's a lot of staff and educators who are being told and rumors circulating that Alabama is instructing people to not leak anything, that they're trying to cover up a lot of the COVID tests. That they're going to treat the people who test positive, but they are not going to let those numbers get out. And I don't blame them from a PR perspective. I wouldn't want it to get out either, as far as that goes. But we've seen North Carolina be hit hard with positive tests. Notre Dame, NC State. Now you're talking about Auburn. Ron, if you would have said this 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have said it's a problem. But right now, there's been too many schools that have had outbreaks like this. It's not a problem anymore. It's just not. It should be, but it's not.
I would say it's more of a problem closer we get to the season. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from the ACC kicking off, but we're 3 weeks away from the SEC kicking off. If this another outbreak, a double-digit outbreak happens on one of these teams like a week out, then we got major problems.
Yeah, I think right now it's oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
And that is honestly what Kevin Warner is hoping for, an outbreak like on Thursday, right before games kick off on the Saturday. Like he's hoping for like a major outbreak, like go party it up, kids.
Ron, I've never seen a smear campaign started by the person that the smear campaign is smearing. Warren started his own smear campaign because I feel like the only reason these other conferences haven't pulled the plug despite all these outbreaks is because the more and more they keep going, the more and more the worse that Warren looks. I've never seen a smear campaign started by the person that is being smeared. It is unbelievable. But
yeah, I'm going to close in this. But
okay.
Rest in peace, John Thompson.
What a weekend, man! What a sad weekend. So many big names.
I saw a stat: 76 of 78 players finished 4-year degrees under John Thompson. That is remarkable.
That's where the student part gets overlooked. Yeah.
All right, man. You guys have a good one, man.
You too, Ron. Good hearing from you. Take care. All right, 457-946 for you. The John Thompson passing, a lot of big names, and we're going to touch on some of that stuff in a moment. But just a very strange weekend. It comes in threes, man, and it came in threes hard over the weekend. I'll tell you that much.
Sixes.
But we'll keep an eye on what's going on with the Major League Baseball trade deadline. As of right now, the Reds addressed their bullpen. They added some depth in the outfield. They recalled Aristides Aquino. Who's in the lineup tonight? Reds and Cardinals, 6:40 the first pitch, 6:10 the pregame. You can listen to it right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. But tonight at 6:30 as well, the broadcast will start on ESPN. So how about that? So the Reds don't get many ESPN ops. We'll see what they could do tonight, which they don't have their skipper, David Bell. That could be a good thing, though. We'll have your Reds lineup coming up next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Got a project to do? Use the right equipment and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts has the best selection, delivery, and service, plus 14 Arts locations. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
It's the summer clearance event at New Carlisle Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At New Carlisle, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com where you can complete all aspects of the vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle is your local authorized dealer for the Hustler mower family. Stop in today and take a look at the Hustler Fast Track with a 4-year, 400-hour limited warranty. The Hustler X1, the Hustler Super Z, the Hustler Super Z Hyperdrive are all ready to take on the big jobs. Turn your weekend to-do list into your weekend to-done list. Hustler, tools, not toys. Visit Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle, 845-3445.
This This is Lake Gibson of the Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office. I want to remind Montgomery County residents about our Help Center and how we can be of assistance. In addition to providing legal forms and sharing programs and resources, we have also partnered with experts in a variety of fields, such as driver's license reinstatement, expungements, Medicare, Medicaid, and even financial literacy that includes numerous topics. Visit courthouse2u.com to get more information about our Help Center located in the courthouse and our community events throughout the county. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
I like a bed that's really firm.
I need something a little softer than that.
Rest easy. With the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it really help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet.
Okay, but can it help keep us asleep?
It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And now all beds are on sale. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing on all smart beds. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing, we can help you replace those wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably the right time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model, that'll keep your windshield streak-free. And you can get it fast your way with our next-day delivery or our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hiring the best people can transform your business and help take it to another level. Indeed can certainly help you find those talented people. We have nearly 3/4 of all job seekers in the U.S., according to ComScore, and smart tools to help you find the best candidate for you. Indeed also provides flexibility to only pay for what you need and won't lock you into any long-term contracts. Claim your $75 credit to get more quality candidates fast when you post your first job at Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And now that it's back, we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
Hey, this is Joseph Newgarden. As a two-time IndyCar Series champion, I love that we're all getting back in our cars and back on the road, stopping at all the places we missed most. And to keep us going between those stops, there's Shell. Stop in to fill up with their best fuel ever. Save with the Fuel Rewards program. And to get snacks and essentials that can save you even more at the pump. That's just a few of the ways Shell helps you make the most of the stop you need to make. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Contractors, use the right equipment for your project and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. No storage, no maintenance, no hassle. 14 Arts locations and online at artsrental.com. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Follow ESPN 1410 Wing AM on Facebook to watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Listen, stream, and now watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on TSPN Radio Station 1410 Wing AM. We have Reds baseball coming up here later on tonight, 6:40, the first pitch, 6:10 the pregame. So immediately following the Justin Kinner Show, about 10 minutes after that, we'll, of course, hand you off to Tommy Thrall and the Cowboys as they get you set after the Reds split with the Cubs over the weekend 2-2, but got embarrassed last night. And, of course, the Reds making a couple big moves here at the deadline, which we'll talk more about later on in the third hour. Real quick, though, here's the lineup for tonight. Joey Votto, for whatever reason, back in the leadoff spot, hitting number one. He'll get the start at first base. Batting number in the 2 spot is Nick Castellanos in right field. The DH tonight and batting third is Jesse Winker. However, I do believe it was announced that he was suspended. So unless he is, why he's still in the lineup that just came out about 5 minutes ago, he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably trying to contest that. So that's probably why he's back in the lineup tonight. He could be replaced. But right now, Joey Votto leading things off at first base, batting number 1. Batting number 2 in right field, Nick Castellanos. Batting third at the DH, Jesse Winker. And the cleanup spot, batting fourth, Eugenio Suarez. He'll start at third base. Starting at second and batting fifth is Mike Moustakas. Aristides Aquino. How about that? The Punisher back in the lineup, batting sixth tonight. He'll get the start in left field. Shogo Akiyama, the center fielder. He'll bat seventh. Getting the start at shortstop and batting eighth is Freddie Galvis. And behind the plate tonight, Tucker Barnhart. He'll bring his 0 for 4 probably status to the plate tonight. He'll bat ninth, and then Anthony DeSclafani. What?
Hey, nothing, man. I'm not a Reds fan, so
I Kinnerize
them all up you want.
I Kinnerize these. Have you ever seen Semi-Pro?
Yes.
I can't be as totally non-politically correct, but I Kinnerize these lineups. Man, that's how it goes. Real quick, Doug Toby on Facebook, and I appreciate that he blocked out the F word. I really appreciate that. That you know, again, we're live on Facebook. Head to your Facebook page and search the Justin Kinner Show. Give the show a like and comment and interact in the comment section. That's how, for those of you at work who can't call in, we're able to interact with you that way. But Doug Toby on Facebook in the comment section, again, we're pulling it into the broadcast. You could see his profile picture, which is pretty funny. It involves Ohio State and that team up north. That Buckeye fan doing something weird to the Michigan thing, but that's for later. So Doug Toby says Aaron effing Boone lost 7 in a row this week. Is he catching as much hell as Bell? I like the rhyme at the end. He is not catching as much hell as Bell, Doug, but the reason that Aaron Boone, former Red, is not catching as much hell as Bell is because right now Boone has an excuse. Boone has a World Series caliber roster. Well, he did coming into the year. Last year, they had 30 players go on the injured list, which was a record-setting year, and that's not the kind of records in history you like to make. But he's back in that record-setting role again this year. In only a 60-game season, the New York Yankees have 13 players on the injured list. Those players include Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Sanchez. I mean, that is... Their World Series hopes are within those 3 players right there, at least from an offensive standpoint. I mean, and then you look at the fact that the other names too, like Gleyber Torres and others, this team, that Yankees team is beat up. So I would expect them to lose 7 games with their star players out. That's at least Aaron Boone's excuse. David Bell's excuse for why he's losing with Mike Moustakas, why he's losing with Castellanos, why he's losing with Eugenio Suarez and Jesse Winker. You go out and you spend millions on Shogo Akiyama, which is supposed to be one of the best hitters, at least in in baseball in Japan. But we've seen how hitters in Japan, their talent translates real easily into Major League Baseball. What's the excuse there? Was it the fact that you don't lead him off, that you started him, or that you didn't even start him on opening day, and then you put him 6th in the next day, in the second day of the season's lineup? It's mismanagement of these players up and down. They have the talent. They have the pitching. I think they have the bullpen, but the bullpen's been mismanaged. They have the lineup, the stars in the lineup, and I don't want to hear about Joey Votto. In fact, Joey Votto, the Reds have a 500 record, a very good record without Votto in the lineup. How many double headers have we seen this season where Joey Votto sits out? And they were 4-0. Now they're 5-1. I believe. Yeah, they're 5-1 in double headers without Joey Votto this year. You've lost with Joey Votto. You can lose without him. but they're winning without Joey Votto on most nights. What's that tell you? Joey Votto's a liability. He's a liability with the bat in his hand. He's a liability on the base paths. He's a liability defensively. He's a liability. So, Doug, I get your point. Why isn't Aaron Boone getting as much hell as Bell? Aaron Boone has an excuse. That's why. David Bell has one, too. It's just sorry. We'll be back in a moment. Hour number 3. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Meadmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tires, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Foot odor throwing you off your game? Stick to a winning game plan with Odor Eaters, featuring 3 advanced odor and wetness biters. The lineup provides long-lasting odor control plus more to keep your feet on their game.
And if you didn't know, Odor Eaters powder provides outstanding moisture control. Clear drying spray is the MVP in preventing athlete's foot, while insoles work continuously to manage wetness while adding a layer of comfort. Pick up today at Walmart, Target, CVS, Dollar General, or other fine retailers.
Odor Eaters, destroy foot odor with the best in odor defense.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And now that it's back, we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Hi. Guess we should talk about something. How's the vermicelli game in your town? Got any good Vietnamese restaurants? Vermicelli? Oh, it's a noodle. Very good. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
ESPN Dayton's fan hotline, 937-210-9676. Something on your mind? Let us know. Leave a voicemail or text us your hot sports take. All takes will be heard weekday afternoons on the Justin Kinner Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Save 937-210-9676 in your phone. It's the ESPN Dayton fan hotline. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. WYNG 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, hour number 3, and we are off and rolling. Happy Monday. Hope all you had a great weekend. Starting to feel like fall outside, except I'm not going to lie to you, though. When it starts to feel like fall, I'm like, oh, it's football season. I'm like, it's football season. No Buckeyes.
Exactly.
That's sad. By the way, I do believe that Thanksgiving Day report starting to die down a little bit. I think that there were way too many flaws with that because, of course, right away when you start hey, let's kick off on Thanksgiving Day weekend. Well, why don't you just kick off, 4 weeks earlier? And by the way, which I agree with, it's not a good like the Big Ten. I don't believe that the final chapter has been written on them yet as far as playing during a pandemic. Because as of right now, and the Austin Peay game don't count. Okay, as of right now,
it counts.
No Power 5 conference or major football game is kicked off yet. And like I said, what happens if the SEC and others kick off, get a couple weeks into the season, and then have to fold it up? Are we really looking at the Big Ten as being wrong in this? Is possible because if ultimately those other schools end up folding for the same reasons that the Big Ten ever got started, are we really going to look at Kevin Warren with the disgust that we do right now? That's why I think Kevin Warren, the chapter on Kevin Warren, it's not complete yet. I think it's just right now we're keeping that book open. It's a blank page and we'll fill it in when it gets to that point. But Kevin Warren's future with the Big Ten, I do believe, depends on the 2020 college football season being, hey, no Big Ten football. Okay, that's fine. No Big Ten football while everyone else plays is a problem. Yeah. I think Kevin Warren's future as the Big Ten commissioner depends on whether or not these SECs and the ACCs, whether these teams actually get through, whether these conferences actually get through the upcoming season. You know what I mean? Like if they get through the whole thing and a champion is crowned and you are the commissioners, you're the reason why your conference didn't play. It's hard, even though his reasonings could be,
he is the fall guy for this whole situation. His lack of transparency, and also he doesn't show a lack of transparency, but neither have the presidents of the universities that voted not to have the season. Like, he's not in this simply alone.
I don't believe they should have to. His job is to be transparent, not theirs. Like their job, and I see what you're saying. They should. You're right. From a morale standpoint, they probably should.
But I mean,
from an enrollment standpoint, I'm not going to go on that ledge.
It's the same. To that point, to your point, it's the same thing as that happens in the NFL. Like, Roger Goodell is paid to be, the punching bag.
Yep.
And not the owners. So, I mean, this is something he signed up for. He just needed to do a better job of being transparent or giving some type of answer. But also, like you said, no matter what people say, no matter what he says, he can have all the evidence in the world. If the other conferences are playing and the Big Ten isn't, it's not going to be good enough. And the only way that he can, quote unquote, win is if the other league shut down.
Yep.
That's the only way.
And it's creating this very bad vibe heading into the season. Like, I get it, Buckeye fans, you should be upset that the Buckeyes aren't playing, but I still feel like for a sport that is as popular as college football, I'm upset if I'm the NCAA, because what Kevin Warren has done is created a hatred for the sport. Like Big Ten fans, they're not going to be rooting for college football this fall. Not just because their teams aren't playing, but because now they hate it.
Right.
And that's where the SEC, or that's where the NCAA should be concerned, is you're not just losing your individual schools' fan bases because they're not playing. You might be losing them as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they may continue to support their university, but they may not support college athletics. Like, they may not support college football. So that's the concern I would have if I'm the NCAA as far as that's concerned. Now, they had that little big gathering outside the shoe over the weekend, and it was hip hip hooray, it was rah rah, it was all that. Look, and then I see an article what Letterman wrote, put one out earlier today, following protest outside the shoe, a lot of frustration, is still no answers. Well, how arrogant do you have to be to think that you're going to get answers after that? Like, were you really expecting Kevin Warren to say, oh man, they have 200 people outside the shoe, I should probably say something? No, 200 is not that many people. It wasn't that, I support the message from the protests over the weekend, but let's be clear, Kev, I don't know what that wasn't going to do anything. It might have made the fans feel good, the players feel good that they have the support of the fans. But I mean, the way people made it sound is that it was going to have to be the whole city of Columbus was going to be shut down for this. They had maybe 200 people, 300 people show up, which great, not knocking it. But to have an article come out that says, man, there's still just frustration, they didn't get any answers after that. Well, yeah, the Big Ten didn't organize that. You did. It's unfortunate, but you're not going to get any more answers. The Big Ten's already come out twice and said, we're not doing it. Here's why. Although you could find all the little loose ends within the reasoning, they're not going to come out and tell you what you want to hear. So they're not going to come out and say anything. Like I said, Kevin Warren's future, I think, depends on whether or not there actually is a 2020 college football season. If the SEC and everyone plays it all the way through, conference champions are crowned, fans are in the stands by the end of the season, the college football playoff happens, a national champion is crowned, and then the Big Ten's kicking off in January after the fact, then I think Kevin Warren's job could be in jeopardy as far as that's concerned. And I couldn't defend it. I couldn't, because if those others can get through it, you could have as well. That's where I'll be as far as that's concerned. But hey, everything he's saying right now as to why there's no Big Ten football, let's say the SEC pulls the plug in week 4 for the same reasons that Kevin Warren was trying to avoid even happening at all in the Big Ten. Kevin Warren's job might be safe at that point because he might get that little very solo, I told you so, out for the masses. So we'll see. It's going to be, I never liked the Thanksgiving weekend idea. The sooner the better was the mindset of most, but I thought that was going to be crazy. You would be kicking off the season, and the second you would kick off that Saturday, 2 weeks later, the college football playoff Final Four would be announced.
Right.
And the Buckeyes wouldn't be eligible. That's brutal.
Yeah,
so
that's even worse.
That's what I said. I got ripped for that. I said, no, that's worse than not playing it all this fall, I think. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, I mean, Clemson and Alabama playing in the national championship game while you're preparing for Rutgers.
Yep.
Who wants to do that? Who wants to see that? I'll say one thing about the parents protesting and their rally up there at the shoe and everything like that. I'm with them. You know, you want to go up there, you want to hem and haw, you want your voice heard. Absolutely. That is the American right. But I will say this. There's been protests for the last 100 days in Louisville, Kentucky for the murder of Breonna Taylor, and they got absolutely nothing. And that's a dead person. So you really think the Big Ten is going to respond to you over some football? Not going to happen, man. The powers that be are behind closed doors, twiddling their thumbs, just like they are everywhere else.
The protesting is doing very similar to what the Breonna Taylor protesters were talking about it.
Yeah, it's keeping the top of mind.
But a lot of times protests don't ultimately that quickly. And this is what my point was about the NBA last week. We were talking about that. Like when the NBA players came out and said, look, we came to this bubble to initiate change and nothing's changed. I thought that was an unrealistic approach to have because nothing was going to be changed overnight. Like there were nothing, no matter whether it's right or wrong. It was, and the same thing kind of here. And I'm not, by the way, I feel uncomfortable even having they took our football season away versus, hey, they're killing unarmed black people and we need to change that. It's so stupid that I'm even having this conversation about the two. But again, I'm using the idea, the method of a protest is to keep you talking about it.
Right.
Sometimes, though, we can keep talking about it, but protests aren't ultimately always going to lead to a solution right off the bat. But by talking about it, it keeps the pressure on those that the pressure needs to be on.
Right.
So I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone that we're talking about the protests being similar for the different causes because they're so not.
Right.
And one is actually important and the other one is just college football for 2020. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, it's to compare the purpose of both. Right. Hey, protesting may not fix it right now, but it's going to keep guys like us talking about it and putting the pressure on the powers that be that need to make the opposite decision, of what is right and what is wrong. However, I'm not an idiot, folks. I'm not comparing college football and the absence of Ohio State football to the social injustices in the world. It's not even close to being the same. So for those who are misconstruing what you and I are talking about, that's not where we're going with that, but just keep that in mind.
I did want to touch on the NBA protest, boycott, whatever you want to call it, work stoppage and everything like that. One thing that my brother and I talked about with it was, these sports owners, and that was the point for them to get involved. And we talked about like this before, back like when we're talking about like, what do they want Jerry Jones to speak out about? They want Jerry Jones to speak out about it because he has no problem going to the government of Dallas to get levies on the bill to get a stadium built with taxpayers' money. They have no problem greasing palms and talking to the powers that be to get these things on the bill, to get voted in, to get these new stadiums. Because believe it or not, people, the stadiums that these big time teams play in We pay for them with our tax dollars, and then we go to their.
I'm Paul Brown, and I approve this message.
we go to their fancy arenas that we pay for, and then we pay. All right, you want to come see the Jacksonville Jaguars? That'll be $20 a ticket. Hey, you want to see Tampa Bay and Tom Brady? Oh, that's $100 a ticket. Oh, you want to get some water? Oh, that'll be $8. Oh, you want a hot dog? That'll be $15. So these places do all these things, and they have the power to get in those rooms and have those conversations with the people that can actually affect change, who are the lawmakers. So that is why the NBA was forcing the NBA players and the ownership hand to say, hey, man, we want you guys involved as well, because as much money as LeBron James is worth, as much money as, all these guys in the NBA make, they are millionaires, but the owners are billionaires, and billionaires have the clout and have the connections to make those phone calls that these NBA players and other professional players don't have to force change. If they can force change to get a free arena that we pay for with our tax dollars, they can use that same power to start change in our society with the same people that make these bills. So I'm with them 100%. I don't want to get on a rant. I'll tell you something else I read, not about the NBA, but something else when we off the air, because it'll blow your mind. But
what is that? Byers brought up on his show earlier. 40% of NBA players are actual voters.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the other flip side to it. It's like you're being hypocritical. You can't demand other people to do their part for justice when you're not doing your part to be able to, register to vote.
100%.
Register to vote.
I saw Jacoby Brissett.
That's correct. Like 40%. Like
40%. That's unacceptable. I saw Jacoby Brissett from the Colts when they didn't practice this weekend. They made sure that everybody that was on the Colts roster was registered voters and making phone calls and things of that nature.
Calipari got ripped because he had the whole team. He had his whole Wildcats team in one of their conference rooms, and they were all registering to vote as a team.
Yeah.
And instead of everyone being like, oh, that's pretty cool, it was, oh, gee, I wonder who he's telling them to vote for. It's like, okay, like people don't have brains for themselves to vote for who they want to vote for. And Calipari came out and give him credit, because if I'm him, I'm like, kick rocks, people. We're helping them register to vote. And half the people complaining probably don't vote to begin with. So, but the thing is like, we're never happy. That's always my thing about this stuff. Is like, I get where everyone's, it's just everyone's always going to complain about something, but this is bigger than that. And I like that Calipari did that. But
absolutely.
You're right. But
I think that all coaches should do something like that. I mean, there's the one in college sports, it is the last time that the coaches really have the, the power and say so over something that they players hold precious, which is playing time. When you're a superstar, an NBA player, like LeBron James checks himself into the game. He knows when he's playing. You think I was going to say Fogel, but
that's why he's a star and MJ wasn't. MJ was told to sit down and not play.
Take the time off. The guys in the NBA, they know what they're doing. So for a man of Calipari, of Coach K, Boeheim, name your great college basketball coach or a football coach for that matter, to take the time out and make sure his team is registered to vote. Not telling them who to vote for. Do your own research. You make the decision what you deem is best for you and your family. That's your responsibility. But as an adult and as young adults trying to get them to understand what's going on in the world, it is their responsibility to make sure these guys are registered to vote. So I'm with them 100%. And matter of fact, you can go to you don't mind me pubbing a different website, do you?
Do what you got to do, man.
Go to hot1029.com right now.
Runs Dayton.
And go register to vote. We got a register to vote link on our website. It takes 5 minutes to register to vote online. And also early voting starts on Tuesday, October 6th. Lines going to be crazy long. So go out and register now to vote and go vote early starting on October 6th.
Or look for one of your many local mailboxes that have all been taken away. What, too far?
See?
What?
See?
I'm just saying. I went to mail something that I couldn't find any place to drop it. I don't know what's happening. I was like, man, is it just me, or did there used to be a lot more of these around town? I don't know what's going on.
My aunt sends me a picture. She lives in New Jersey, and she sends me a picture of every mailbox.
Oh,
that's
that
in
did
her
it. Yep, we
neighborhood.
lost everybody on that one. I figured that
She
was
sends me a picture of every mailbox in her neighborhood that had a lock on it a couple weeks ago. Very strange.
I'm
Very
sorry.
strange.
I just watched like 100 people just dip. Like, I mean, that was insane. Like,
For telling people to get registered to vote?
For watch. Hold up. This is, I mean, so we see how many people, again, the audience isn't large on the Facebook platforms. Like, we're building that up at like the streaming numbers. And I literally, the second we said, it's like, Poop, I'm out. It's like, okay, all right. Guys, don't worry. We're going to stick back to sports. We're going back to the sports world. So how about our conversation on Friday about running backs and the value of running backs? In fact, for the second time in 2 seasons, one of the best running backs in the NFL was told to kick rocks because, hey, as talented as you are, we just don't need you, man. We just don't need you. But Outlier, Mr. Outlier Kev tried telling us that running back, oh, yeah, trust me. How about Leonard Fournette being outright released by the Jaguars today? Where could he end up? Browns-Bengals fans, you should be concerned. I'll tell you why when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Kev won't be concerned. Never. Pittsburgh!
Never concerned.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Partly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, then patchy fog, down to a low of 65. And tomorrow, patchy fog, then slight chance of thunderstorms with a high of 88. I'm Leanna Ray for 1410 ESPN Radio.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens, and all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right, and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
When I say Central Ohio's premier link-style golf course, what do you think of? It should be Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield. What used to be a world-class horse farm is now a stunning link-style golf course, complete with full-size steel horse sculptures and black rail fencing all around the course. And it's open to the public. Windy Knoll offers a challenge to golfers of all levels. Outstanding course conditions add to a truly exceptional golf experience. Get your friends together and come out and play at Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit GiveWestwood.org. GiveWestwood.org.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You're really turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, liberty, liberty. Liberty, liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
I like a bed that's really firm.
I need something a little softer than that.
Rest easy. With the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it really help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet.
Okay, but can it help keep us asleep?
It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And now all beds are on sale. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing on all smart beds. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing, we can help you replace those wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably the right time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model, that'll keep your windshield streak-free. And you can get it fast your way with our next-day delivery or our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Your state, your state, your state concern.
Hi, folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $14.95, plats of annuals starting at $12.95, and hanging baskets as low as $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry. So come out to 1309 Brant Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at the Mopar Service Center at your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealership.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Lowe's for Pros loyalty program gives pros personalized offers, purchase tracking, and more. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty. Terms and conditions apply. U.S. only.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Oh, well. All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So I'm a little tired today. I was up till about like 12:30 last night. 12:30 last night because I had to try out the new PGA 2K21 video game. Are you a big video game guy?
I used to be a huge video game fanatic, but I've kind of dialed back now, man. So I don't play as much as I used to.
I'm not like I don't get into video games outside of sports games. I'm obsessed with sports games. And I'm obsessed with this new PGA 2K21 video game. If you've been waiting for a new AAA golf video game, wait no more. It's officially here with the PGA Tour 2K21 video game. Play against the pros, play with your crew. In PGA Tour 2K21, you can play by the rules or create your own. The
House rules.
Absolutely. The all-new PGA Tour career mode. Prove you've got what it takes to become the FedEx Cup champion. Take on PGA Tour pros during your very own career, earning rewards and gear along the way. But yeah, buddy of mine, we were up to like 12:30 last night playing this. I'm like, man, I gotta go. I gotta work tomorrow. But I love this game. This game is really, really cool. The graphics are fantastic. You got to check it out. If you're going to go out and buy the game, that's fine. But how about you don't go out and buy the game? How about you register to win it for free? Head to wingam.com right now and register for your chance to win the brand new PGA 2K21 video game. It is very simple, folks. You go to wingam.com. You click on the graphic there up at the top. You'll see it, the PGA 2K21 video game. For those of you watching live on Facebook, you click on that. And again, you just enter your name, email, register. And the best part is that we have all these bonus entry opportunities by liking the Facebook page. Again, you got to do it through the registration, okay? So don't go there now and like it, although I would like you to, but go to wingam.com and like it through the contest, the PGA 2K21 video game. The more you like our Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram and all that, the more bonus entries you take advantage of, the better chance you have of winning this game. We've already announced 4 winners this past week. And again, they're coming in. They're going to be coming in to pick up their game. They're going to be getting some, again, picking up the game, but taking a picture with it too. They're going to walk out with it. You'll be able to see the winners with their game so that hey, we're giving these things away, baby. And they could be yours too. So register at wingam.com for your chance to win the new PGA Tour 2K21 video game. I'm telling you.
Got a question for you.
I probably don't have an answer, but we'll try it.
What are you worst at? The new game or your real golf game?
Oh, my real golf game for sure. In fact, it's really disappointing because I'm like, I get the itch to go golf after playing the video game. I'm like, man, I gotta go play this game. I gotta go play golf, So, but yeah, I stick to the video game. I'm much, much better on the video game than I actually am in real life. So there is that. But anyways, all right. We'll be announcing the winners coming up on Friday, but you can vote or you can register daily. So go to wingam.com one more time. I'm pushing this like crazy. These games are hot. We got quite a few copies of these. A lot of you are going to be able to come away and walk away with a copy, but you got to register at wingam.com. All right, let's talk some NFL. On Friday, and to be honest, I got to thinking, what were we even arguing about that led to this? What were we even trying to debate? Like, what were we even talking about with running backs, elite running backs in the NFL? What was the premise of the conversation?
Running backs in the NFL, and then I was trying to get a clear and direct answer out of you. And you wouldn't answer the question. So somehow my point got misconstrued. And then we started talking about running backs. So
it's so salty about that, huh?
No, because
you want some pepper with that?
I was more right than you were.
You want some pepper with that salt?
Never.
If you just keep the salt, you can make a nice little margarita with that.
Ooh, margaritas. It's only Monday. I gotta wait.
Outlier Kev. Outlier Kev runs Dayton. How about that? So, again, Friday was a weird show. We got into this big heated debate. It was absolutely ridiculous. It wasn't even on the rundown that day. I don't even know. Again, you kind of walked us through how we got there, but we got to talking about the importance of running backs, and we all know how important. I think both could be true. The running game is super, super important, but how important is it to have an elite level running back? When you look at the results of Super Bowls, and you look especially within recent history. By the way, Friday we missed one. Someone messaged into the show, and I'm not going to be able to give him credit because I totally missed the name, and I apologize. Again, we always read your responses on the Facebook Live chat, so make sure you go and hang out with us on Facebook Live. The last elite running back quarterback to win a Super Bowl would have been the Rams with Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk. I can't think there was. So think about the NFL today. There's a ton of elite quarterbacks. There's a lot of elite running backs, but there's really no pairing of elite quarterbacks and running backs in the game today. We couldn't think of one. And again, there are pairings of good running backs with elite quarterbacks, and then there's elite running backs with good quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill's a good quarterback, not elite by any means, but he has probably the best running back, if not the best running back in the National Football League. You have Teddy Bridgewater now with the Panthers. We got into a debate about McCaffrey probably and Nick Chubb, but you have McCaffrey, second best, if not the best running back with everything he brings to the table in the National Football League, depending on who you talk to. but has a very average, not average, that's not true, a very good quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, but Bridgewater's not elite, but the running back is. Then you look, the closest I could think of was Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees as far as today's NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest to elite quarterback with an elite running back that I could think of.
I was going to say in the year that the Falcons made the Super Bowl, the same year that
what Dunn?
Dunn.
Was it work done?
No, when they blew the lead to the Pats.
Who was their back that year?
It was
that elite, huh?
Freeman.
Okay.
It was Freeman. Freeman was I want to say third in the NFL in rushing that year. Matty Ice won the MVP. Obviously, they had Julio Jones. Like, that was going to be the year. Like, matter of fact, if they would have actually gave Freeman the ball, they probably would have won the Super Bowl.
Their trio this year is going to be better. Should be. Todd Gurley stays healthy. You
they
have Todd
got
Gurley.
more than that. They got, you got Ridley in there as well.
So, so with all that going on, I got to say, and I talked about it with Keith Byers earlier today, and surprisingly enough, he agreed with me. Not about our ongoing. Again, I don't even remember what we were debating, but the point is with all of that, with the elite running backs and quarterbacks teams, and I went down the list, remember the top running backs, and every one of them, they all had one thing and a couple things in common. Every elite running back in the National Football League either plays on a non-playoff team or plays on a playoff team with a quarterback that does not have a max contract. So for instance, Zeke Elliott, an elite running back, plays on a playoff team, but he plays on a playoff team with a quarterback that is not paid like all the other top quarterbacks are in the league. He's, Dak, depending on who you talk to, is not elite. That's the story for every elite running back. There is no elite running back that plays with an elite quarterback outside of Alvin Kamara, but a lot of people don't look at the Saints as winning a Super Bowl because of that tandem. It's because of Michael Thomas. It's because, they go out and they add a lot of pieces in the offseason. We'll see. That's as close to as an example. So my point is that all these great elite running backs, we could talk about how great they are, but I don't think that they are viewed as great within their own field of work because they are not looked at as value. They are not valued, and they are looked at as not worth it to some of the top franchises in the National Football League. The New England Patriots, who could possibly end up with Leonard Fournette, which is what I'm about to get to in a moment, they don't value the running back position from a financial perspective. They value it. Every team in the NFL values the running game. I'm not saying they don't value the running game, but what I'm saying is you can accomplish what you need to accomplish with the running game without a Leonard Fournette, without a Todd Gurley, without a Zeke Elliott, without a Dalvin Cook and a Kamara. Those guys, by the way, man, they can make you explosive and fun. But if I have to financially invest a good chunk of my change into you, at the expense of a lockdown secondary, a lockdown cornerback, at the expense of a, Pro Bowl level left tackle, at the expense of a Pro Bowl, a MVP caliber quarterback. When you prioritize what you're trying to do financially in the NFL, I'm not saying these elite running backs aren't good, but they're not worth it in the eyes of general managers and owners in the National Football League. So then that led to today, and I'm like, man, the Jaguars just outright released that dude. Leonard Fournette is a free agent right now. Just outright released him. And I'm like, I laughed because of our argument on Friday, but I'm like, I don't value elite running backs in the National Football League because you don't need them to win Super Bowls. You need a good run game. But that's the thing. A lot of times, oh man, that's a great passing team. But to be a great passing team, you have to have an elite passer to accomplish that. Man, that defense, that's an elite defense. That's an elite defensive line. But you have to have elite defensive linemen to make that. You don't need an elite running back to have an elite running game. And that's what we've learned in the NFL. That's why the value of the running back is depleted over the years. Their talent, they're never going to be paid what they're actually worth, which is why you're starting to see running backs they're trying to position themselves differently. Oh, well, you're looking at me and trying to pay me as a running back, but I'm actually a running back / receiver.
Right.
To put it into perspective, it's kind of like in baseball. Pitchers sometimes don't like to be labeled as just a closer because, hey, you're using me as a closer like Horacio Iglesias. Mm-hmm. My incentives to get paid are based on saves, but you keep bringing me in the seventh inning as your extended relief guy, your middle relief guy. I don't get paid for coming in to save you for a few innings in the seventh and eighth inning. I get paid for what I do in the ninth inning. Stop misusing me. So it's kind of like what running backs are doing now. Hey, I'm paid for total yardage. I'm paid for top 5, being a top 5 rusher. I'm paid for top, touchdowns. And you're using me in split packages. You're using me in situational packages. Stop doing that. I get all that. But the bottom line is we've seen the Rams outright release Todd Gurley, who he was it. He was the guy. We've seen now.
To be fair, he was. We'll see this year, but he was just like a shell of himself from injuries.
But his shell of himself 1 year after being paid, everyone can have an injured down year, right?
But he was injured before he even got there.
But that
he didn't even play his rookie year.
But that's also dumb. That's what also made the Rams so stupid for giving him that money, though, right? Like,
fair.
So if I'm a running back, I'm angry at the Rams because you now make our whole position look like that. Like, if I'm a running back, I'm like, man, I don't want Gurley getting paid. He's injury prone. They're going to give him max dollar. Then he doesn't stay healthy. Then they'll look at all of us as being the same. So if I'm a running back, I'm not a Todd Gurley fan because you ruin it for the rest of us, So that's how I would view that. But bottom line is I'm not crapping all over running backs. The NFL is, and I don't even look at what they're doing as crapping on them. I mean, we all have a business model. We all, as times have changed and adapted, every business goes in a different direction, whether it's how much money they put into digital, how much money they put into outsourcing, how much money they do this and that. We all don't have to like it. There are people that are very good at their jobs, but if a company says, we know you're really good at your job, but if I could save money by hiring someone that's less talented than you, that opens up money for me to put in someone more talented over here, that's going to help us in the big picture. It's a business approach for running backs. We always make it personal and say how they're disrespecting running backs. But in our everyday jobs, how many times do you and I have conversations about things that are like, man, what are we doing? This should be done. This should be done. This should be done. Everyone has that conversation about their jobs. It's no different than in the NFL with how running backs are used, in my opinion.
For the Fournette situation, the Jacksonville Jaguars just suck. Plain and simple. They're a terrible run organization. A couple years ago, they were in the AFC Championship, leading
13-3.
Leading the Pats, double digits, and you got lemon booty. You got lemon booty in the fourth quarter. You wouldn't even let Blake Bortles throw to the flats, a simple rollout pass to the flats to hit the tight end to pick up a first down. You ran it into the line of scrimmage box with 9 in the box 3 straight times and punted it to give it back to Tom Brady. Lemon booty. And since that game, they weren't the same. You let maybe the best corner in the league, Jalen Ramsey, get up out of there. Paul Posluszny retired. Telvin Smith retired.
They just traded Njoku
to the
not Njoku, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah,
one of the best defensive tackles in the league. They
traded him. So maybe it is what you speculated the Patriots of doing, tanking for Trevor. Maybe they're trying to tank to get Trevor. Maybe they're pulling exactly what the Dolphins did last year when they basically gave away their entire roster. They gave the Steelers Minkah Fitzpatrick for a first-round pick. They just gave up everything and try to make their team over again. It's a terrible. I get it. I understand. I understand what you're saying as well. I get what they're trying to do if it works out. But if it doesn't work out, then it's just the Jacksonville Jaguars being stupid again.
Well, and by the way, Chicken Chuck, shout out to Chicken Chuck, by the way. He texted into the show saying the Joes, talking about Mixon and Burrow, Super Bowl 2021. I see what he did there, 2021.
I like that. I like the Joes.
Chicken Chuck, I see what you did there. Not 2020, 2021, like that built-in bumper year, man. Like, there you go. There you go. All right, 457-9464. Now, keep in mind, what's also interesting here, folks, is this. I see a lot of people ripping the Jaguars, saying they're an embarrassment of an organization because they picked Leonard Fournette over Patrick Mahomes, over Deshaun Watson because they felt they were good with Blake Bortles. Can we go back to that draft real quick? Like, yeah, Deshaun Watson had people. I mean, Deshaun Watson fell out of the top 10. To sit there and say, like, if the Jaguars had the number 1 overall pick and they picked Leonard Fournette and the number 2 pick then went to Deshaun Watson, then I would rip him. I'm not going to rip the Jaguars for not taking a guy that the entire top 10 let fall out of the top 10. And that includes Patrick Mahomes as well. Now, it's easy to look back and say that because, by the way, there's a certain, if you think that's bad, at least the Jaguars passed on those two for a guy that was top 3 at his position over the last couple of seasons in Leonard Fournette. The Cincinnati Bengals opted to take John frickin' Ross over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes as well because they thought they had Andy Dalton. So if we're going to rip the Jaguars for that, Bengals fans, which, by the way, I've been keeping track, Kevin, there's a lot of Bengals fans on Twitter who are making fun of the Jaguars saying, how stupid are they that they picked Leonard Fournette over Deshaun Watson and, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Kevin, the Bengals picked John Ross. Because they had Andy Dalton.
Like fast 40.
And let's be clear here. I'm not going to rip the Jaguars for that, Kevin, because you got to understand the Jaguars, okay? The Jaguars, like you said, they were 1 quarter away from going to the Super Bowl. And you know why they were 1 quarter away from getting to the Super Bowl? They went from 3-13. The reason that they were able to get Leonard Fournette is because they went 3-13. They draft Leonard Fournette. Let's not be dumb. They added some key defensive pieces too, but Leonard Fournette was the reason that offense took off, and they were 1 quarter away from getting to a Super Bowl. So to me, the Leonard Fournette deal was worth it because at that time you didn't have a run game. Yes, they could have got Deshaun Watson, or yes, they could have got Patrick Mahomes, but again, they passed up on them like 11 other teams did.
Yeah.
So, and Deshaun Watson, by the way, was not a favorite. He wasn't even being talked about as the number 1, number 2, number 3 overall pick. Yes, they go on to have great careers. But Kevin, where are you with that? I'm not a fan of ripping teams in the draft who overlooked a Patrick Mahomes or a Deshaun Watson because, again, you just don't know. If everyone knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes, he would have been number 1 that year.
Hey, man, breaking news. If Patrick Mahomes would have went to Jacksonville, he wouldn't be Patrick.
He wouldn't
Mahomes
be Patrick.
Right now.
That's
about
true
fit.
too.
It's about fit.
That's why, and to be fair, that's why people were ripping the Bengals. That's why people were worried about Joe Burrow. We're not knocking Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow going to the right fit makes sense. Joe Burrow going to the right fit is, oh man, Joe Burrow's about to take over the league. Joe Burrow going to the Bengals might be, in the eyes of what you're saying, Kevin, Patrick Mahomes going to the Jaguars during that stretch. Who day?
You had to do that, didn't you?
What'd I say?
Oh, God.
By the end of the year, though, remember that elite quarterback, elite running back duo? Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield.
Good luck.
Go Browns.
Good luck with that.
More of the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
At Call It Propane, we're proud to say that 98% of our customers would recommend Call It.
If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, why are you still using them? Summertime is the best time to change suppliers and take advantage of our budget options. Give us a call to find out how, or find us online at callitpropane.com.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations. Call It Propane and Call It Seal Coating are proud to serve the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Hey Dayton, this is Blake Maislin, your favorite injury attorney. We need to be together as a community looking out for one another. If you see someone get hurt, if you know someone that got hurt, hold up the number 4. Let them know I'm here. Let them know as a community we can put it back together. Raise up your 4, show you care.
1 4, call 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 Blake Maislin.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
It could be a routine drive to pick up the kids after school or an epic road trip across the country. No matter where your travels take you, we know those miles count. We're Marathon. We have over 5,700 stations across our great nation. Our people are working hard every day to provide you with quality top-tier gasoline to improve engine performance and fuel your life. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
Have you played Turtle Creek Golf Course yet? Formerly Greenville Country Club, Turtle Creek has local, state, and national recognition for excellence. They also have some world-class facilities, like the famous Thirsty Turtle Lounge, a full-service restaurant and bar with seating for up to 200 guests. Come try the Turtle's famous chicken wings, or Fish Fridays, Steak Saturdays, or Sunday brunch. Learn more at www.turtlecreekon36.com. Turtle Creek Golf Course and the Thirsty Turtle Lounge. Great food, great golf, and a great experience.
It's the summer clearance event at Key Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At Key, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks, and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com, where you can complete all the aspects of a vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Did you know Geico's now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies? That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Your teenager to help around the house?
Okay, Mom, I emptied the dishwasher, vacuumed the basement, and folded the sheets out of the dryer.
Wait, what?
Oh, and next, I'm going to clean Mitten's litter box.
Are we in some kind of prank show or something? That's a camera, isn't it?
There's never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Limitations apply. Visit geico.com for details.
Hey, this is Joseph Newgarden. As a two-time IndyCar Series champion, I love that we're all getting back in our cars and back on the road, stopping at all the places we missed most. And to keep us going between those stops, there's Shell. Stop in to fill up with their best fuel ever. Save with the Fuel Rewards program. And to get snacks and essentials that can save you even more at the pump. That's just a few of the ways Shell helps you make the most of the stop you need to make. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like blind spot assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP in our 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model, availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment is practice optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through August 31st, 2020.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
The Reds are on the radio. Cincinnati Reds baseball is finally here. There are only 60 games this season, so don't miss a second of the action.
Winker hammers one to deep right field, and that is a no-doubter.
Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410
Whoa, you turned on
ESPN
your radio guy, boy.
So how about this? All right, guys, we are going off the air here in the next couple minutes. The Big Ten voted. This is an ESPN article. Adam Rittenberg, regular guest on the show, put this out that, again, because of the lawsuits from the 8 Nebraska players, a lot of behind-the-scenes documentation that the Big Ten did not want to get out is officially getting out. So very interesting stuff here. Big Ten presidents and chancellors. Again, remember the statement from the Big Ten and Kevin Warren. Kevin said that that all of the chancellors and presidents overwhelmingly, remember Kevin Warren said that he had full support, that everyone overwhelmingly supported the decision to postpone the season. Well, I don't know what your definition of overwhelmingly is. Me and you have learned on Friday. Our definitions of stuff are completely different now. But Big Ten presidents and chancellors voted 11-3 to postpone the fall football season. 11-3. Is 11-3, in your opinion, overwhelming? Because
yes.
but the Pac-12
unanimous.
That to me is overwhelming.
Overwhelming? That is, I mean, 11-3, like that's overwhelming. If you win a game, a pickup game in basketball, 11-3, it's a blowout.
But here's so 11 schools voted to postpone it, 3 did not.
Right.
Have you noticed that if you start paying attention to the protests and the lawsuits and the noise, it's all coming from 3 schools.
Right.
Nebraska,
Iowa,
and Ohio State. So 11-3. Here's why I agree with you. 11-3 does sound overwhelmingly in favor to postpone the season. Now, here's where I disagree with you. When you are a conference like the Big Ten, and the face of your conference is the Ohio State University, and we're not doing this homerism thing, but Ohio State is not just a brand, it is the brand in your conference. I honestly, Kev, I'm not trying to be funny. You cannot say it's overwhelmingly in support when not just the face of your conference, but one of the faces of college football is against it. That's why I have a problem with this. So, folks, if you're listening, again, 3 schools, it was 11-3. 11 schools voted to postpone the season.
Okay, 11-4.
3.
We'll give Ohio State 2 votes.
2 fair. Okay, Ohio State, Nebraska, and Iowa. Very, very random, by the way. Like, I would have understood this if it was like Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. All 3 voted to play this season. Like, that's what you would expect to have happen. Iowa is strange to me, and so is Nebraska, kind of. Like, what I mean by that is, like, those are schools that aren't playing for national championships. So, and you would think in their eyes, it's like, why are we really fighting to play here? Let's just sit back and let's see how the dice rolls.
I don't know, man. Iowa has a lot to lose, man. You know, Iowa has a lot of those Olympic sports. You know, obviously they're huge in wrestling. They're a pretty good basketball school. So they have a lot to lose without football. So I understand Iowa trying to make sure it's.
But all schools do. There's not one school that.
But they're good at those sports, though. Like, I mean, we don't necessarily care about them, like, in the grand scheme of things. It's just like Stanford is good at a ton of Olympic sports, but all in all, we don't really care. But, you know, the people down there at their schools, they care a ton, and they want those sports to continue. I mean, you mean to tell me the number 1 wrestling school in the country may not have wrestling? That's not going to fly well with them.
But again, I do find that, again, this just coming out, there was a lot of speculation of what presidents voted, which, who didn't, what happened. Apparently, in Kevin Warren's defense, somehow, some way, no matter what presidents say, if there was no vote, that's not true. Official documents prove that votes were taken. So I'm not defending Kevin Warren, folks, but you can no longer sit there and say a vote was never taken because official documents show a vote was taken. Now, again, I know how this works. Oh, they were forged, blah, blah, blah. If they were forged, folks, it would have been a unanimous decision. Let's just put it that way.
That would be a bigger problem.
Yeah, that'd be a bigger problem. So 11-3 was the final vote. And of course, this comes out as we're ending the show today. We're going to pick up with this on tomorrow's show. So make sure you hang out with us every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Listen, stream, and now watch as we're live on Facebook and ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Search The Justin Kinner Show on YouTube and Facebook and hang out with us weekdays from 3 to 6. The Big Ten presidents and chancellors all voted 11-3 to postpone the fall season. Kevin Warren says, hey, it was, it was by and large heavily in favor of postponing, but the problem is you can't say that. You can't say it was overwhelmingly in favor to postpone when the face of not just your conference, but one of the faces of college football is adamantly against postponing. I think that's where the problem's coming into play here. Iowa, Ohio State, Nebraska, those three programs all voted against postponing, and that's what's leading to the noise here. That's why you're having parent-player protests. You're having lawsuits. You're having gatherings outside the shoe, and it's always those three schools involved. Man, I hate that we're out of time. We'll get into this tomorrow because I'm curious your guys' takes at 457-946. For the phone lines will be open tomorrow. We do got Reds baseball coming up. The Reds were active at the trade deadline today. They had a closer. They had an outfielder from the Angels. All right. So, again, the Reds very active. How much better will it make them? We'll talk more about that throughout the week. Again, Brian Goodwin from the Angels, Angels outfielder traded to the Reds. And then, of course, Archie Bradley, Diamondbacks closer. Josh Van Meter, part of the trade. That brings Archie Bradley to the Queen City. So, all right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out today. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great Monday. And here's to a great Tuesday. We'll talk tomorrow.
It's the Just